I hope my voice is very clear now. Please let
Yes,
me know if there is an issue.
you're very clear. Thank you.
Okay, so today is the day one of SAP BTP training. My name is Parth. I will be your lead instructor throughout this training, and I will give you my background, my technical background a little bit, and we'll have some little bit of introduction session so that we'll get to know each other better, so that we'll drive this training session very smoothly. So let me give you my technical background first a little bit. So as I said, yeah, so I have almost 12 years of experience in SAP technology areas, and I almost served 50 odd clients, different international clients. So now you must be wondering, okay, so is it really possible to serve 50 clients within this 12, 13 years of span? Yes, it is really possible, because I was in a kind of at that position that I was leading a COE team from a MNC, and that's the reason I used to interact with different customers for their different solutions, POCs, and proposals. Okay, so that's how I interacted 50 different odd clients almost. And from the from the training perspective, I almost given 200 plus professional professionals for different kind of trainings, like be it ABAP, OData, UI5, SAP, non-SAP clouds, and even BTP. So, and if you come to my BTP implementation background, I till now have implemented 5 end-to-end BTP, you can say big implementation, because I have done lots of POCs and all. I'm not considering here, but from a end-to-end implementation perspective, I have already implemented 5 end-to-end big implementation for different clients. So, so these are my backgrounds actually. And as I said, like, okay, so I have also given training, but I started my career as well with ABAP. And I also believe ABAP is the thing that if someone knows ABAP by heart, they can learn anything. Okay, they can learn actually literally anything. So I also started with ABAP, and then gradually I moved with different technologies like OData and UI5 and Fiori as well. So here OData, UI5 and Fiori. And then I started different SAP and non-SAP cloud technology solutions. And there I worked extensively with AI solutions, machine learning solutions, IoT solutions, these kind of things. And like the SAP Cloud rebranded as BTP, that is Business Technology Platform. So as I was mentioning, if someone knows ABAP by heart, I strongly believe they already know a lot of things, because they can understand the business, they can understand the logics, they can implement any kind of solution. But there is an advantage and there is disadvantage as well. Okay, if you learn ABAP by heart, okay, so the disadvantage, the drawbacks, maybe I will not discuss now. I will tell you at the end of the session. So after understanding my little background, I will definitely want to know your background as well in a simple word, okay, not in a detailed format. So I will first ask you, okay, so because this will help me throughout this training as well. So are you from functional background or if you are technical background? Okay, please let me know. Okay, functional means business background and technical means like ABAP, PIPO, basis background. Please let me know which are the areas that you have experience you're working with so that I can customize these training sessions accordingly. Can you please raise your hand if you are from functional or business background? Anyone? Okay. So we have 3 friends here from functional business background. Can you please raise your hand? I understand the rest of the folks are from technical background, but still I wanted to know, are you from ABAP, PIPO or basis background or any other technologies that you are working in? Can you please raise your hand if you are from ABAP? Please raise down your hand from functional background now. Okay. 17, 18. Okay. 18 from ABAP. PIPO, anyone? Please raise your hand from ABAP and other things. I guess no one. And basis, is there from anyone from basis background? Naga Srinivas, Sita, Harish. I'm getting my echo. Can you please mute yourself if someone is already? Yeah, I can see B26. Please mute yourself. Okay, so there are 3 friends. 24 I can see, but I can see 29 participants. Anyway, I can get it now. Okay, so most of the folks are from ABAP background, as some of them are from basis, and some of them, like very few, are from functional business background. Okay, no worries. Okay, if you are from functional business background, that's also doesn't matter here, because whatever I will be teaching here, I will start from the very scratch level. And obviously, as because you're working in tech companies, obviously, like I can understand you are little bit of from technical background, or even if you're not technical background, you must have learned something in your college life. So some kind of programming or some kind of technical things, technical stuff, right? So should not be an issue if you have not done so far any kind of ABAP program as well. So now the next part is, let me start today's topic. And before starting today's topic, I will set up 2 rules here. Okay, the rule number 1 here is, the rule number 1 here is, please don't interrupt in between. Okay, I will be giving you enough chances to interrupt me in between the session, but from your side, please don't interrupt while I am in a flow. And the second thing is, please don't hesitate to ask any kind of dumb question. Okay, every dumb question can be a very solid logical question as well. If you are thinking it's a dumb from other side, from the other angle, it can be very solid logical thing as well. So these are the two thumb rule. Okay, ask any question whichever there in your mind. If you are hesitating to ask these things in this particular forum, ask me offline as well in the other group, other, like we have already the WhatsApp group, there also you can ask. Okay, but please ask. And first thing, as I mentioned, please don't interrupt. So today's topic is, I have divided today's topic into 4 sections: preface, then introduction to BTP developments, BTP management, and then preparing for BTP application development. And as I was mentioning, I will be giving you chances in between as well. Okay, so after each and every section, I will be pausing some time, like it's like 3-4 minutes, 3-4-5 minutes to ask, to answer any of your questions. And at the end, definitely I will be answering all of your doubts. So from the preface side, we'll be starting with SAP technology evaluation and all these things. Then introduction of BTP development section. We'll be seeing the BTP kind of like motivations things and all those kind of BTP environment things and detailed architecture of Cloud Foundry. Then BTP management side will go and do hands-on, like we will be actually creating our accounts, sub accounts. We'll be configuring our landscape, and even we'll be seeing like different kind of entitlements and all those things. And at the end of the session also, we'll be moving towards our first hello world program we'll be building and deploying to SAP BTP Cloud Foundry. So this is our high level overview of our today's topic. So let's move ahead to the first section, the preface. As I have mentioned, so these are the topics we have in the preface section. So we'll start with SAP technology evaluation. Okay, if you want, just take a note of this one. Okay, now let's start with the BTP technology evaluation. Okay, so we have seen like SAP is a 50 years old company now. Okay, so this year it became 50 year. Okay, so it started around 1970s, and it started with R1. Okay, so they called a system as R1, and it was kind of a mainframe system. And and their kind of a like the system design or something like this. There was a single box. Okay, there was a single box, and in that single box they have their database. Please mute yourself if you are not talking. Database, application, and the front end. So these are the 3 layers. They put it in a single box. It was a mainframe system, and it was very rigid. If some things need to be changed, let's say like in database, in front end, in application, we have to do a whole lot of things. We have to ship the whole software together if there is any change. So difficult. Okay. So SAP thought it's not a scalable architecture. It's not a scalable design, flexible architecture. So they then move towards the R2 and R3 system. And in the R3 system, we have 3-tier architecture. So we have the database, application, and front end separate. Okay, so that it will so that we can build the components separately, and the separate components will talk to each other with some kind of middleware, and that become flexible. And not only that, so not only from the technical point of view, but from the functional, from the business point of view, from the design point of view of the business, SAP started with, I guess, like they started with material management and the PP module, and they then introduced the HR module, the sales and distribution modules in R2, and then in R3 they have their maximum of the modules, like including the finance and all. And then after, SAP simplified their solutions with S4 HANA. So they were calling as S4 HANA. So they invented a very good platform and database solution that is called HANA. And on top of that, they have built their entire business package and they named it as S4 HANA. So this was their both technical and business innovation involved in this. Okay, so technical and business innovation, they put it together in S4 HANA. So why I am telling you all this kind of story? Okay, so there is a reason. So you can see initially SAP started with very core rigid system and they are gradually giving you the freedom or giving you the architecture, loosely coupled architecture, so that it will be more scalable, more flexible. Okay, and whenever we build our any kind of solution, so whenever SAP ship this solution, ship this uh, whole package, like let's say ECC or S4 HANA, SAP has already given you whole lot of things, right? So from the functional point of view, from the configuration point of view, okay, so if you are dealing with the standard kind of business, it's okay. But whenever there is a need and maximum time there is need to customize the system, right? So customization from the business perspective, from own kind of business perspective, right? Own requirement perspective. And the main customization medium SAP initially has given that was ABAP, right? And so ABAP is a very good solution. Okay, ABAP was wonderful solution. But yeah, so I'll come to the but part. Initially, let me just give you the high level overview. Okay, so in ABAP, like what we generally do, we do the enhancement. Okay, so with using baddies, exits, user exits, customer exits, enhancements points. We do interfaces like BAPIs, RFCs, IDOCs, sorry, PIPO proxies. Even we deal with the data, we deal with conversions. Like data conversions, the BDCs, right? Kind of AL11, all those things, right? So this was main mechanism, main technique that we used to use to enhance the standard SAP package for our customers, right? For our clients. So it was absolutely okay. But what was the problem? The problem was the data. Okay. The data was growing. The data was growing. The business was growing. So let's say like you started SAP, let's say you are working in a client who is using SAP for last 20 years. And just imagine how many enhancements, how many baddies exist, enhancement point, how many custom tables we have built in the same system. And now let me give you a very good example. I was working in a big company, I mean big client. They are using mostly like SAP for more than 20 years or maybe like 15, 20 years. And they were using ECC. Okay, they were using ECC. We have done lots of customization, as I was mentioning. And around 2015 or 2017, I guess. So when SAP S4 HANA being introduced, okay, we wanted to move from ECC to S4 HANA. So we started analyzing our system. What to do if we want to migrate from ECC to S4 HANA? We end up with that we need to convert a lot of things. Then we took help from SAP, asking the consultancy what are the things we need to migrate, how we have to migrate from ECC to S4 HANA. SAP got shocked, actually, literally shocked. to see our customizations. There are hundreds, thousands of customizations from the baddies, exits, enhancement points, and a lot of custom codes, lot of custom tables, lot of custom structures. Okay, include structure, append structures. So after analyzing for almost 3 weeks, SAP given the solution like you can't migrate it like this. You can't migrate it because you have done so many customization. It's kind of a scrap system now. So for that purpose, SAP suggested you start gradually moving to HANA, S4 HANA, shifting your phase-wise business to S4 HANA and do for greenfield implementation, a fresh implementation of HANA. There is no other way. If you want to move it to HANA, you have to do greenfield implementation and move it gradually, convert the things gradually. So this was the main problem. So we kept our system dirty. We made our system dirty, and that was the main issue. Okay, main roadblock for any kind of progress. Till now, the progress was okay, but here it was not okay. Okay, so this was a brief story. Now let me tell you from the other innovation perspective. SAP has innovated a lot of other things, like SAP has bring a lot of other SaaS solution for, let's say, like I'm giving one example for HR. SAP bought this success factor for procurement solution, Ariba, those kind of things. And this pass, DBAS, iPass, don't worry about this terminology. We'll go through each and everything here later sections. So these are the main areas that we'll be focusing on as part of BTP. Okay, now let's move ahead to the next topic. Okay, I was telling you the motivations. So the motivations towards our SaaS solution, towards our PaaS solutions, towards our database as a service solutions. So mainly like motivation towards BTP, that is business technology platform. Okay, so as I was saying, so we made our system dirty. So here the main purpose of motivation is to keep the core system clean. Keep core clean. No more junk in the core system. Anything you have to enhance, do it in BTP. Be it enhancement, be it kind of any kind of interfaces, be it kind of any kind of data solution, everything you can do it in BTP and keep your core system clean as it is, however you have been given or delivered by SAP, the core system. Okay, so all with standard tables, standard programs, standard modules, no more customization. And then the integration flexibility. As you can see, like SAP has, so if someone is using SAP, maybe like they are not using a single system. Okay, so maybe like they are using ECC and parallelly they're having some kind of HR system, they can have some kind of customer facing interfaces, customer systems, and so on, right? Inventory system, maybe different systems. And generally we used to use different kind of middleware. Previously we used to use PIPO or iDocs or these kind of solutions to integrate different systems. So here the integration flexibility, these are the another motivation factor to move into BTP. Because in BTP, because it's kind of like open technology, you have a lot of freedom, you can use a lot of things, and even SAP has also given a lot of integration capabilities for your integrations, for your different system integration, for your different business integration, any kind of integration. So this is another motivation. And then that means like you don't have to be dependent on SAP provided technology. So here also we will be not dependent on SAP provided technology that is called ABAP. I mean that is called ABAP. Sorry for that. And the integration flexibility, we are having a lot of flexible technology that we can easily use apart from those PIPOs, idocs. Maybe like we'll be using parallel to PIPO and idoc, we have a lot of other flexible solutions. We can use it easily. And moreover, whatever the things that we'll be building, all things will be agile. Okay, agile means like, okay, so previously we used to get any kind of business specification, the functional requirement, we used to analyze, we used to do a lot of brainstorming. After 3-4 months of brainstorming, you started some kind of developments. Okay, so the blueprint, after the blueprint phase, we started the developments. And then after that, we used to start the technical specification. We take time, then the implementation. So we have seen, like, for a single implementation, like from the ideation phase or the business blueprint phase to the go live phase, there could be like 1 or 2 years of gap. But in this modern area, who will be waiting, right? In this change environment, who will be waiting? Everyone need the agility. Okay, so everyone need the flexible business, right? Everyone need kind of dynamic business. So maybe like today, whatever the application I'm using, after 3-4 months, maybe like I will not be using because my customer is demanding something else. So I will be stucking 1 or 2 year or 3 year only for development. There is no meaning. Okay, so the agility. So that means like here, as because the things are easier, things are more flexible, you can build any kind of solution in factor of like weeks or months. Okay, not more than month. And you can ship the solutions to the production and make it live within a week or month. Okay, be it any kind of application or solution. And not only that, previously we used to have different release cycle. Like, let's say like you are already on live, now you are doing kind of some kind of changes. Okay, some kind of like defects fixing or whatever. So there is a release cycle. Let's say like monthly release, quarterly release. Then only your changes will be moved to the next environment and it will be go live. It will be live in your production system. So this was also a problem, right? Here we will be solving this kind of problem as well with agility, because everything is flexible, even you can build and ship the things on the same day itself. You don't have to wait for any kind of release cycle. Okay, and then what next? The modern UX. Okay, so SAP was shouting Fiori, 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 UI5, UI5, UI5 in early 2015 and those kind of things, right? But maybe like that is also not a modern UX. Okay, what is the modern UX? Modern UX is something like that. If you just open your laptop, or even like you're not opening your laptop, you're just opening your mobile and saying like, or even like you are just starting your Alexa. Okay, so the voice assistant, and saying, okay, so create sales order with this much detail, or this detail, or with this quantity, and for this customer, like that. Okay, and the sales order should be automatically being created in your core system, backend system, SAP backend system. So not only like keyboard based, mouse based, the touch based modern UX, but also voice command based user experience also we can provide it if we are developing our application in business technology platform. This is so powerful. And then obviously I will go to the data side as well. Okay, so the data side means like, as I was also mentioning, the data was growing along with the business, right? Because it is accumulating the data from year after year after year, right? So we have the data solution as well. Like we have kind of a big data solution. We have the HANA HANA cloud solution. We can use, we can put a lot of data. We can even have the HANA data lake solution. We can accumulate data from different data sources and we can put it here, right? And as because we have lots of data in our HANA system, in our BTP system, in our BTP. So we, on top of that, so those data, so you can, right? So data is the most powerful thing, right? Information is the most powerful thing. So on top of those millions, billions of data, we can actually utilize those data, and we can utilize, and we can build different kind of analytical solution, the machine learning solution, the prediction based solution, and we can have different insights of the business, okay, so that we can grow the business, we can increase the sales of the business, okay. So for faster business insights, we can use business technology platform, and obviously innovation and automation. Maybe like in our terminology, the innovation and automation is whenever our managers ask us, okay, before the appraisal, you have to come up with some kind of automation now, otherwise your appraisal cycle will not be very good. So we then used to be very much very smart and try to think about those kind of innovation solution and automation solution. And many times we fail, right, because we did not have the proper infrastructure, proper baseline where to implement. We have lots of idea, but we do not have the baseline, we do not have the proper infrastructure platform. SAP BTP allows you to convert your ideas, innovations into reality within few weeks. That's my challenge, okay. You can do that, and you will be doing that maybe throughout this session or after this session. You will be inventing a lot of things and implementing this within this business technology platform. So these are the main motivations I was trying to motivate you, and it's this not a kind of like I was trying to motivate you, but it's kind of fact. Like these are the motivation factor that you should use BTP. Your customers, your client should use BTP to get maximum benefit out of it, okay, and to be ahead of the business, to be ahead in this competition market. Okay, so enough said. Now, before going to this business technology platform and all this kind of solution, I wanted to start from the very basic level. Okay, so how generally we develop our solution, we develop our applications. We know how to develop the application. We have to go to the AC38, AC37. No, not like that. I'm talking about from a core flexible technology perspective, not ABAP. Okay, where I can build application in any kind of programming language, any kind of framework, any kind of database, any kind of network solution. Okay, how to do that? So so we already know, right? This kind of thing. You are already experienced folks, and you already have done maybe some kind of application development, if not in your professional tenure, but for sure in your college life, like how to implement a Java application, how to implement a C application, how to implement C++ application, how to implement Python, how to implement maybe like uh, Node.js, or how to implement PHP or any kind of MySQL, anything, right? So maybe you have implemented, or maybe you have some idea. Okay, so the things are very simple to implement or to build any kind of solution, to build any kind of application. You need the infrastructure like the CPU, RAM, hard disk, and on top of that you need some kind of operating system, Linux, Windows, Mac, Ubuntu. And on top of that you need the environment, the runtime, the build packs. Like for Java we have the JVM. For Java, we have JVM, Java Virtual Machine. For Node.js, we have V8 engine. For Python, it's Python, let's say. So those are the build packs. So at the application layer. So there are mainly three layers, as I was mentioning. So obviously, like when we'll be seeing the things in BTP perspective, it is not coming from the different planet, right? So they have also used this kind of technologies to give us the platform, right? The infrastructure, the OS, and the application level environments. But let me give you some more idea. Okay, so on top of this kind of solution, okay, so if you do these things, you have your infrastructure. Let's say like your laptop is having CPU, RAM, hard disk, and on top of that you may have Windows, you may have installed Linux or Mac or Ubuntu. And obviously, like, you can download the JVM V8 engine Python, and on top of that you can start building your application. You can build your application, you can build a full-fledged application in your computer, in your local computer, in your laptop or desktop. But this is not a scalable platform, scalable infrastructure, right? So generally, okay, so I'll go to the scalable design scalable platform. But before that, let me just give you like kind of a like virtual machine concept as well. Okay, so on top of this kind of technology, okay, whenever we generally build any kind of application, let's say like the virtual machine, let's discuss on the virtual machine. Okay, so virtual machine is something like that. You have your, let's say like, you have CPU. Okay, uh, just imagine you have CPU in your laptop, you have RAM, if you have hard disk. Okay, you have your own OS. Okay, and you have network layer. So this is your system, and on top of this system, as you are building your software, maybe like that is not an efficient way. So previously, the technologist, the IT technologist, they invented this virtual machine. So which was something like that. On top of this infrastructure, you can have some virtual machine as well, virtual infrastructure. Like, there also you have CPU, you have RAM. Sorry, you have RAM, you have hard disks, kind of like virtual, and you have so you have OS as well. Okay, the similar thing here as well. Yeah, why I'm putting multiple virtual machine. So previously, whenever we used to build any kind of application software for different application, we generally spin up different virtual machine. This is virtual machine 1, virtual machine 2, virtual machine 3, right? It's like for three different software, for three different application, we have three virtual machine. So the resource, where from the resource was coming, like CPU, power, RAM, hard disk, it was shared from the core. Okay, so let's say like if you have 500 gigs of 500 gigs of hard disk, you can distribute it in three. Okay, so it was shared. But here we had some kind of problem, like let's say like some of the application is not running, it is idle, but it will consume, it will just consume, in the sense like it will take out of those kind of infrastructure, those kind of computation power separately, and we do not have the any usability if it is not working. Okay, if it is not running. Okay, so if it is ideal, there is no use. So there is no collaboration between this virtual machine. So for that purpose, later on, someone someone thought, okay, there could be some better solution. So there, like let's say like here again, you have CPU, you have RAM, you have hard disks, you have your, on top of this, let's say like you have your OS operating system. So previously the operating system, so you have to bring different operating system to the virtual machine, and here I'm saying you can have a single operating system, and on top of that you can have the containers. Okay, like this containers. Okay, so let's say like container 1, container 2, container 3. So you can if you have heard about Docker container, kind of that thing. And there also we can build our solutions, Java, Node.js, Python, Ruby, PHP, anything, the software, the applications. And the advantage of this particular container based solution is it can share the infrastructure. Okay, like the CPU, RAM, hard disk, all those kind of thing. If something is idle, that doesn't means like the infrastructure, the computation power will be idle. It can be shared between. So just giving you the high level information here. So okay, so you have infrastructure, operating system, and application environments, the runtimes, the build packs. Like this, we generally use to build our softwares, our applications. But as because I was saying, this was not a scalable solution. Okay, we need some kind of central party who can also we can provide. And let's say like you have to ship some kind of software. Okay, you have to build some kind of applications, and if you have to purchase all those infrastructure, that can be huge, right? Like those CPU, RAM, hard disks can be huge. So for that purpose, we later have seen there are different vendors like AWS, Azure, GCP, DigitalOcean, and so on. They started providing the infrastructures. Okay, they started providing the baseline solutions, and we the customer can rent out those computers. Like you can say like those are computers only, right? So and on top of that we can build our solution. So before going to this cloud computing, let me just show you this on-prem things. Okay, so initially as I was saying, SAP was on-prem, and even lots of customers are on-prem itself. Okay, and their on-prem means like everything, like the storage, server, network, virtualization. Then virtualization means virtual machine, OS, middleware, kind of like Apache, Tomcat, and then applications and data. So everything was shipped by SAP. Okay, so even application as well. Okay, maybe like not the data. Data is customer own property, but other than data, everything was shipped by SAP. Okay, and maybe in your company, as because maybe you are running on prem, that means like can be it can be there is possibility you are running on private cloud. Okay, or your physical on premise system. Okay, you have data center, and there you have your own operating system. You have your own storage, the CPU, the memory, RAM. Okay, hard disk, all those things. Okay, you are maintaining your network, you have your network team. So there are so much headache, right? So there are cost involvement, so lots of cost and lots of time involvement. Okay, so lots of cost involvement, lots of time involvement, and lots of risk also involved here, right? Because you have to maintain all the security networks and all those things, right? So if we start building this kind of solution like the Java, V8, Node.js, Python, those kind of application solutions within our on-prem, it will be more costly solution, it will be most time consuming solution and more risky solutions. So for that purpose, we need to find out someone who can take all those load on behalf of us. Like there are infrastructure as a solution provider. Who are those infrastructure as a solution provider? Those are AWS, as I was mentioning. Those are AWS, Azure, GCP, my God, GCP. Okay, so they were saying, I will be giving you the storage, I will be giving you the server, I will be maintaining the network, I will be giving you the virtual machines. On top of that, you have the flexibility to choose which operating system you want to install. I'll be also giving you, but you have to install it. It's your responsibility. You have to responsible for your middleware. You have to responsible for your applications, and obviously you have to responsible for your data. But from SAP world perspective, we are not used to all those things. We used to go to AC38, as I was mentioning, and AC37. We used to write code, just do the activation. Like there was an activation button, I still remember, right? Activation, activate it, and then F8, run it. Just write the code, write the logic, like put your variables, put your internal tables, work areas, loops, logics, selects, joins, put your final internal table, and if you wanted to update something, put call some kind of BAPIs. Okay, or implement some baddies and activate it. F8, you are done. You are not used to see this storage, network, virtual machine, OS, middleware, blah blah blah. So that's the reason when SAP initially thought, okay, maybe I can give the infrastructure as a solution, as a solution for our customers like AWS, Azure, GCP, or even like SAP initially started the Neo. Okay, so we are not used to all those things. It is very difficult. So what would be the ideal solution to give to the SAP customers, to give the SAP developers? That is the platform as a solution. What is platform as a solution? In platform as a solution, you will already have the storage network capabilities, servers already installed, virtual machines already installed, OS already installed, middleware already working. On top of that, you have everything. You just write your code and you just maintain your data. Almost similar thing in your S38 and S37. You don't have to worry about OS, virtual machine, and blah, blah, blah. So this was a perfect solution. SAP have seen like this is the perfect fit, right? But how to do that? SAP research a lot, okay, and we'll be seeing those things, okay. So how to do that? What are the behind the things, technology of this platform as a solution? But as of now, just remember this is BTP. This is your BTP, okay. And as I was also mentioning as well, like the software as a solution, like the success factor, Ariba, Conquer, Fieldglass, even S4 HANA, on-prem. So these are software as a solution where even you don't have to build the application. You have everything. You just purchase that and start using those for your own data. So we'll be mainly focusing on this area. Okay, we'll be mainly focusing on this area. Now going to the next part. Before going to the next section, if you have any questions, I'll be giving 1 minute of pause here. Please unmute yourself and ask anything in your mind.
Hey Partha, an irrelevant question. Do you think this S4 HANA is a success product?
Sorry, I was taking my breakfast. Sorry, you were saying
Yeah.
S4
Sorry, this
HANA?
is a irrelevant question, but yeah, I just wanted to understand your point of view. Do you think this S4 HANA is a successful product for SAP?
Of course, is a successful product. Not only S4 HANA on premise, but we have seen lots of customers are using S4 HANA. Oh, sorry, this is S4 HANA Cloud. Sorry, guys, this was not on-prem. This was S4 HANA Cloud. Yeah, obviously, it is a successful product. S4 HANA. Because I myself has implemented at least 10 S4 HANA solutions. Okay, there are lots of S4 HANA solutions that I was worked in, but especially from the core perspective, I at least worked in 10 S4 HANA kind of project.
Okay, so different clients are start using that and they are purchasing this S4 HANA from SAP now?
Yep.
Because I can see less project in S4 HANA right now other than this SAP. That's why I asked this question. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, if there is nothing else, thanks for the question. Ask anything, okay?
Hi Partha.
One question. Just asking. So, I mean, like these recordings and everything, there will be a repository where they'll be stored, right? For later access.
Yep.
Okay, and the link for that, will be sent out in the mail.
Of course.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Hi Partha. Can I please switch on that slide? I had one question in that slide.
Yep.
Yeah, so coming to this second section, like infrastructure as a service. So what is the difference between middleware hosted uh, in infrastructure as a service and uh, middleware in platform as a service? Like, what is the difference?
There is no difference. All middlewares are same here. So middleware means don't think about like middleware like CPI and all those things. The middleware here is, however, the mechanism how it interacts, the application interacts with the OS virtual machines. Okay, how the application on data interacts with the virtual machine and OS. So those kind of like Apache Tomcat kind of a middleware. So these are middlewares are same. So previously we used to use our own middleware, our own server, our own Apache Tomcat. There SAP, sorry, here also we used to use our own middleware. But in the platform as a service, you don't have to worry about these things. But all are
Yeah,
same.
like in case of SAP GUI that we use, SAP NetWeaver, so you want to say like application layer is our middleware in that case?
No. That's what I'm saying. Like you don't have to. So here, just focus on BTP, where we'll be developing the applications, and where we'll be having everything. Okay, like our backend, our database, our the application layer, like where we'll be putting our application logics, and then we'll be having our APIs like OData services, and on top of that, we'll be building our user interfaces. All will come here itself. So these are behind the
Uh,
scene things. Okay.
Correct. So like HANA Enterprise Cloud is which model? IaaS or PaaS?
HANA Enterprise Cloud. So whichever I'm talking about here itself. So HANA Enterprise Cloud. So that can come in this topic. Okay. Here we are talking from the enhancement perspective. From okay, let me just go back. Our motivation is this. Okay, the integrations, keep the core system clean, modern UX, agility. So that's what I was emphasizing on those things. We are whenever you are saying the S4 HANA enterprise, those kind of things, those are standard package, standard software provided by SAP. We're not talking about that. Our job is to customize the things, right? Our job is to customize, to put some custom logic or to enhance the standard system. For that thing, how we'll be doing that? For that purpose, we are discussing where to do that and how to do that. Okay, so
Correct,
if
correct.
your question is with the standard solution, that's the thing we are saying.
Yeah, yeah.
We will not touch the standard software. We will put our standard software as much as clean.
Yeah, the reason I asked this question is that
um,
in my previous company, we had our like hardware part stored as a part of HANA Enterprise Cloud. So that's the reason I was wondering in which section this architecture will fall.
Yeah, so those will be falling under this. Okay, so as it is, if you are dealing with ECC S4 HANA, those obviously will fall here or private cloud. Okay, or maybe sometimes the public cloud as well. But
Okay,
there everything is managed by either SAP or by your client itself. I mean, by you itself. Okay. But whenever we are trying to enhance this, we are trying to make some kind of interfaces or yeah, so integration solution. So there we'll be using BTP for our purposes. Okay.
yeah. So
And
in that case, that was like in infrastructure as a service section, right? That solution.
yeah, so that can be either here or here. Okay. So that's the thing telling you. Okay. So for the standard solution, we are not talking about the standard solution. So you remember the things I was telling you here. Okay. So that's the reason. So these are the things I'm clearly see here. Okay. That's the reason I was asking you or telling you I'll be putting these things at the end of the session. Okay. So
Got it.
we are very core and we used to think whatever we already learned. Okay. So I was thinking to give you these tips at the end of the session. Try to unlearn the things. Okay. Try to not to relate with the existing thing. Okay. Maybe somehow you can relate with the existing thing. That's what I'm saying. For standard things like S4 HANA, the standard package solution, S4 HANA ECC, the standard things will run as it is. We are not going to change anything there. but the customer enhancements for customer custom solutions for which we are being hired for as an ABAPer or as an basis guy or as a PIPO guy. Okay, so you are not responsible to build a standard module, right? Because you are not working for SAP, right? You are working for some customer. Your job is to enhance as per the customer need. Where to do that and how to do that, that's our main problem statement. And on top of that, we have different kind of other motivations. Okay, so
Okay,
we'll be mainly
thank you for
focusing
this.
on the PaaS and SaaS.
Hi, Partha.
Yep.
Hi, Partha.
I think we will be
Uh,
taking these questions at the end of the session. I was telling you we will be only taking 2-3 minutes. If you have any questions, please note it down. I will be taking it at the end of the session for the
Partha,
benefit of everyone.
I have put it in the chat. Whenever you are free, please answer that. Thank you.
Yep, that will be at the end of the session. Okay, let me move ahead. Thank you for the question. Let me move ahead with the section 2, that is introduction to BTP developments. Okay, so here we will be learning the BTP application development environment and some kind of detailed architecture of the core thing. Okay, that is Cloud Foundry. Okay, so let me move ahead and go to the application development environment section. So in the application development environment section, you can see, if you remember, okay, so previously we used to have SAP Neo, okay, in early days, let's say like 2015. Even not 2015, I think more before that as well. But what I remember, 2015, I used to use SAP Neo. So what is SAP Neo? SAP Neo was also a SAP's cloud solution that was SAP's own infra. That was SAP's own infra. Okay, infra means like SAP hosted those CPU, those hard disks, those RAM, basically those all those things somewhere, and SAP has had their data centers across the globe. Okay, and on top of that they were offering, okay, so now I am giving you this kind of things, okay, kind of like middle things of this infrastructure and platform as a solution. Okay, they were giving all those things. Don't mix up with S4 HANA or SEC system. Okay, so these are the solutions we are talking about for purely customization perspective, for enhancement perspective, for interfacing perspective, for integration perspective, for data management perspective, for which we are main responsible for. We are not building a SD module. We are not building a FI module, right? Our job is to build a custom report on top of those SD module in a FI module, or our job is to enhance the functional transactions. That is our job. And here I'm saying don't do those things in your core system. That means like in your native ecosystem. Do it outside of it. How to do that? That's what we are discussing mainly. Okay, previously SAP was offering this infrastructure solution. I mean, like the SAP Neo, they were offering. So there we used to. There also they were trying to bind the developers, the customers to work according to their wish. Okay, like they were saying, if you want to build any kind of solution, you have to use Java. You have to use Java. You have to use HANA, Access Engine, like all those Access OData, Access JS. You have to use UI5. There is no other front-end technology that you can use, and you have to use the HANA for as a database. So there also SAP was rigid, and we liked the freedom, right? Our customer liked freedom, and as because the whole world is going towards the open source technology kind of thing, right? Why I will be stucking in developing the things in UI5? Why I will be stucking only developing the things in HANA? Why I will be stuck in developing the things in ABAP and Java? So no one was very happy with this SAP Neo. That's where the platform as a solution was coming into picture. And sorry, that's where the platform as a solution was coming into picture. And we had that business technology platform here. And behind the business technology platform, what is the main core thing, core technique that SAP used? That is Cloud Foundry. Cloud Foundry is an open source environment. Cloud Foundry is an open source environment, I'm repeating, where you can build your application literally in any kind of programming language like Java, .NET, PHP, Go, Node.js, anything. Because Cloud Foundry has all those runtimes, build packs, and this is free, completely free. Even you can install Cloud Foundry in your local machine, or even in your local hardware, in your local, I mean, in your on-premise system, and you can start building these things. But as because SAP is a management company, technology management company, SAP thought if I use Cloud Foundry and I will put the wrapper, I'll put the cloth on top of it and I will sell it. That's what SAP done. And not only this, everywhere, whatever the things SAP is using in BTP, that is Business Technology Platform, everywhere SAP is using some sort of standard or free software or open source technologies. And on top of that, SAP is giving you a beautiful interface so that you can work on top of those interface and you don't have to worry about the detailed thing behind the scene, right? Because we are not used to all those things. We are used to AC38 and AC37. Kidding. Okay, so that's where SAP thought like, okay, I will be using Cloud Foundry, and on top of that, I will be building everything and I will be giving as it is the things to the customers, and customer will start developing the things. So what the customer will do? Customer's job will be the same. Like customer will come here and open the laptop, desktop. Okay, let's say like this is your laptop. Customer will open that like you had done your programming in previous world. So you just write your code, and after writing your code, you just do cf push, that is a command. Your application, your program will be deployed directly to Cloud Foundry. You don't have to worry about whatever is this. Okay, you write your code, you write your logic, you write your business logic, you write your any kind of like enhancement interfaces, everything. Just focus on the business, just focus on the writing the business logics, and after that do cf push. It will get deployed in Cloud Foundry, and boom, you are done. You have your application ready for your production or for your like end user use, right? But as because this is a training for architect with low code and no code, we will dig into each and everything, not only for our vague benefit, but also for real benefit. So you will gradually learn. Okay. So here my point is you don't have to worry if you don't want, but if you want, you will be better architect, you will be better developers. Okay, so Cloud Foundry, as I said, is an open source technology, open source platform. We can run any kind of languages, any kind of framework, any kind of databases. So as because I was telling you, you can even install Cloud Foundry in your local machine, but that's not the ideal scenario. So when SAP is saying, I will be giving you business technology platform, and behind the scene, everything is running inside this Cloud Foundry, and Cloud Foundry. So to run the things, I need some kind of infrastructure. So what are those infrastructure? Like even here also, you have AWS, you have Microsoft, Azure, you have GCP. Okay, even you have the Alibaba as well. Okay. So here, what I am saying is, SAP is giving you the flexibility to choose what would be the infrastructure for your BTP. You can choose like you want to choose, you want to use AWS, Microsoft Azure, or GCP or Alibaba. And on top of that, SAP is also giving you lots of other flexibilities or kind of a like helping hand to develop or to enhance your customers' requirements, like the alert notification service, the business application studio, HTML5 repository, HANA cloud, workflow management, monitoring service, and almost there are 100 different services. We'll gradually know maximum of the things. So you don't have to develop things from the scratch. Maybe, okay, let's say like you in your program you want to send some kind of notification as an email notification. Okay, previously also we used to use some kind of function modules to send an email, right? Here also you will be having some kind of standard services to fulfill those things. So you will just call those services from your program, from your program. We will be mainly using Node.js and you will be done. So maximum of the times we'll be using standard services. Maybe from very few perspective, from very customization perspective, we'll be writing our code. And as because this is a low code and no code training, we will be seeing how to write minimum code to fulfill any kind of business requirement. And believe me, this is not a regular training. Okay, this is not a regular training where we generally have seen like people used to give you training on like, okay, so some dummy environment, some dummy use case. Not like that. We'll be learning all real-time architectures, the real-time business use cases, designs. Okay, the uh, the industry standard, all those industry standards, the best practices, all those kind of things. Now let's move ahead. Go to the next topic. The next topic is the design of this Cloud Foundry. Okay, so design, as I was telling you, okay, so there are a lot of component. I mean, there are these are the technology. So the Cloud Foundry is the technology behind the scene of this BTP mainly. Okay. Okay. So I forgot to mention the other things as well. Okay. So Kima. So not only Cloud Foundry, we have some other environment, you can say, like Kima also another other environment which is based on container, which is based on Kubernetes. Also, there you will be having more flexibility to develop your application, to run your application, to deploy your application, to integrate your application with different things. But as because you'll be getting more freedom, that means you have to do a lot of work. But we don't used to do a lot of work here, right? We used to write our own business logic, we deploy it, we just do the if it, and our application should run, right? So if we follow that kind of methodology of that kind of principle, Cloud Foundry is the best choice. Okay, in BTP. So we'll be not focusing on Kima. And even so, as because lots of developers are from ABAP background, the people were shouting, okay, I don't want to learn new thing. I don't want to learn new technology. I don't want to learn new language. Okay, give me ABAP and give me ABAP here in BTP as well. So SAP thought, okay, let me make you happy as well. Okay, so you take ABAP as well, but believe me, there is no use. Believe me, there is no use. If someone is telling, okay, so you are trying to build your application in ABAP because your main workforce are from ABAP background, let's build it in ABAP. Let's build it in RESTful ABAP programming. Okay, where few customers are building on top of this ABAP RESTful programming. And why to learn this ABAP RESTful programming? If you have to learn new thing, learn this kind of things. And this kind of things means like Cloud Foundry and the Node.js kind of things. Okay, so there is no much kick on this ABAP environment as well, or ABAP runtime. Okay, so that's the reason we will be mainly focusing on Cloud Foundry. And for that reason, we wanted to understand the detailed architecture of Cloud Foundry as well. And if you want to ignore, just ignore it. Okay, if you are saying I'm a developer, I don't care the architecture, just ignore it. But if you want to become a architect, you want to become a lead, you want to become a decision maker, you want to become a good architect, you definitely have to learn this. And not only that, if you want to develop good development skill within yourself, you have to learn this. And it's not a kind of like you have to learn now itself, gradually you will be learning this architecture particularly, because everywhere, whenever we are dealing with any kind of application, as we are saying, we will be putting our application in Cloud Foundry. How application will be deployed, how application will be staged, how application will be running, okay, how application will be served to the end customers, or sorry, end users, everything you can see it if you want. Okay, so that will be visible to you. So for that purpose, if you want, you just shut your brain, or if you want, you just open and put very much concentration here. Okay, so here I have different layers. This is a 3D format. You will not find these things anywhere else. Okay, so here I have mainly 4 layers, or mainly 5 layers, I would say. We have this layer as well. So what are those layers? So the layers are routing. So this is the routing and authentication layer. Okay, and the second layer is application lifecycle. Okay, and the third layer is application store and execution. Whenever I'm taking some time writing these things, in between you just look deeply here, whoever want. Okay, and the fourth layer is here is this services layer, and fifth layer is messaging. This layer, this particular layer, messaging and logging. Okay, so we have this mainly 5 layers. Now we'll try to understand with some use case in the sense like, okay, so architecture means like how it works when the application get deployed, and how it works when end user request for application or execute on application. We'll be seeing these two main perspective. First, look into the developer perspective. When developer develop any code, don't worry about this terminology. Will whatever I'm giving you the information here, everything is linked. Okay, so everything is linked thereafter. So if you can see, there are some new terminology coming in to picture. Intentionally I have put those things here. Gradually I will be revealing those things, and I'll be explaining more and more details. Don't worry about that. I'm taking the full responsibility of your BTP learning. Okay, so don't worry. So here, so you can develop or you can write application, let's say like in business application studio. Let me take another color. Business application studio is somewhere you will be writing your code. Like if you have seen Visual Studio Code, or let's say like this is your AC38 or AC37, okay, where you will be writing your code. And as I was saying, you can write your code and you can deploy it using CF push. Your job is to write code and deploy it using CF push. Rest of the things, whatever happened, doesn't matter, but matters from other perspective I was saying. So anyway, so whenever you will be pushing the code, it will go and set into this Diogo cell VM. How it will come here? Let me tell you. So here we have the cloud controller, kind of like gateway, whichever the request the Cloud Foundry will get from your CF push. It will get the request, it will register the request, and here you can see at different point of time we have different databases as well within this Cloud Foundry. As I was saying, it was open source technology, but on top of that, uh, they have already provided you different databases. Like this is one of the database, this is one of the database, this is one of the database. Okay, So whenever any new request come for deployment, it comes here and it registers the things like which are the application name, those kind of application ID, those kind of things. Okay. And this cloud controller also controls the other things like the other BTP things like the account, sub account, space. Okay, don't worry about that, but just remember the things, remember the terminology. Account, sub account, space. Okay, the user management, the securities. Okay, the roles, those kind of things also controlled by this cloud controller. So this is part of Cloud Foundry. And whenever the CF push the request come for the deployment of application, it register here in this particular database of Cloud Foundry. And this particular database is built on top of MySQL, just for your information. And when it registers the information, it goes to Diogo Cell VM via this Diogo Brain via this cloud controller bridge. Okay, so Diogo Brain will decide. Okay, so Diogo Brain's job is to distribute the task and long running process to Diogo Cell. Okay, Diogo Cell VM. And whenever the deployed application will come to Diogo Cell VM. VM is virtual machine. So this particular virtual machine and garden container, that you can see container virtual machine. So these concepts comes long back before the original invention of virtual machine or container. Okay, I mean mainly the container, not the virtual machine. Okay, so like the Docker, before Docker it came. Okay, so the Cloud Foundry garden container came into picture. So it is kind of the same containerization techniques, like your application will be containerized, different application will be containerized in different container from isolation perspective, from flexibility perspective, and in between there will be communications. Okay, so anyway, here whenever the application code will come in this Diogo Cell VM. Okay, so as I was saying, cloud controller accept request and direct to Diogo Brain via the cloud controller bridge to coordinate with individual Diogo Cell to store and run application. So when it comes to Diogo Cell VM, the first thing it does it like, okay, I need to now compile, right? And I need to stage the application, right? And then I need to start the application, right? So you'll seeing those things whenever you will be actually building and deploying those applications in Cloud Foundry. And to compile the application, to stage the application, I actually need, so your application comes here, but as because your application, like application component, like you have written a lot of things, you have a lot of files. So Diogo Cell VM will not um, hold all of this, right? So let's say like you are inheriting different packages. Okay, so packages in the sense like, okay, so whenever we also develop something, like we also do not build from the scratch, like we used to use some kind of packages, libraries, right? So those libraries definitely it will not store within this Diogo Cell VM. The reason is those packages, libraries, and the code bundles are heavy, are very heavy, right? So it will consume lots of memory. Okay, so for that purpose, this Cloud Foundry uses some kind of application store. Okay, like in Blob Store or S3. Okay, so AWS Blob Store or S3, Amazon S3. So this is the icon of Amazon S3. I just put for your reference purpose. So whenever the things will come here, it will deploy it here itself, like, and it will actually map whichever the packages, whichever the libraries I need. Okay, and as because I was telling you, everywhere I need the database, I have the database. So whenever it comes here, it registers the information here. Okay, so this is the application, these are the required packages I need, and that's how it will map. Okay, so now I have the baseline things here, and for the running this baseline code, I need this kind of libraries packages, but I will not use or store those libraries packages here. I will store it in blob storage here itself in the separately. And not only that, I need different kind of build pack, like I was mentioning you here. Like I was mentioning you somewhere here. Like to run a Java application, I need JVM. For Node.js application, I need V8 engine. For Python application, I need Python, right? So those kind of sorry. Yeah. So for those kind of things, I need some kind of build packs like Java build pack, Node.js build pack, Python build pack. Those are also heavy files. Those are also I will not put. I mean, the Cloud Foundry will not put it in Diogo Cell VM. Those also put into the some kind of blob storage. The library packages, the build packs will be put into the blob storage, and to run any application, I need some kind of, so here in this Cloud Foundry terminology, this is droplet. Okay, so your application will become a droplet. Okay, so it is kind of like end format to serve for your final end user. Okay, so this is kind of like end shape of your application. It will become a droplet. Okay, it will package like a droplet. So to build this droplet, like the tar file, mtar file. Okay, so this particular droplet need these packages and build pack. So with using these packages and build pack, it will this droplet will be built. Okay, and the reference of the droplet will come here and store in the database as well. Okay, and whenever it needs to serve to the end user, it sits here in this garden container. So garden container, you can imagine as of now, like it's kind of a serving container to the end user. Okay, where the end users will be connecting to your services, to your garden containers applications through some service broker. Okay, so these are internal mechanism. If you don't bother, don't care, okay, about it. But as I said, like to become a good architect, you have to care. So on top of that, we have the services. Okay, like the different services, like so to build application, like you may need to connect to your backend system, on-premise system, right? You may need the connectivity service. You may need to need the connectivity service. You may need the destination service, right? You may need logging service. You may need application scaling service. You may need job scheduling service, right? You may need alert notification service, right? You may need transport management service to transport your request, right? So these are the different services which can connect to your actual application with using this service broker. And not only that, many times you will be connecting your application, not only your, let's say like your on-premise application, on-premise system, but also some SaaS solution, right? Like SuccessFactors, Ariba, Concur, Fieldglass, or even S/4HANA HANA Cloud. So for that also, so this is SaaS solution as we have already mentioned. So also connecting to your actual application, deployed application using this service broker. And not only that, even if you want to connect to your databases like HANA database, MySQL, Postgre, anything, you have to go through these service brokers. So these are the service layer. So we have seen the perspective when the application get deployed, how it compiles, how it gets started, how it stage the application, okay, and how it connects to the outsider world, outside the services and databases. So let's move ahead to the another perspective, like this perspective. This was the perspective number 1, and this is the perspective number 2. Okay, so from the end user perspective, now let's say like the end user wants to access the application. What is the mechanism will happen inside this Cloud Foundry? Let's understand. So whenever we used to access any kind of cloud application, we need to authenticate ourselves like we are legitimate user, right? We need to give our credentials, and in the server, the platform will verify we are a valid user. So in Cloud Foundry itself, we have this XSUAA service or XSUAA techniques, the UAA, user authentication and authorization. Sorry, user account and authorization. This is the particular service will be responsible for user authentication and authorization. And after successfully login, we need to route it to the appropriate application through this router. Okay, and when router routes the request of the user it goes via this cloud controller again, because cloud controller have all this information here in this database, right? And because cloud controller have all this information in this database, like which is the VM or which is the actual application IDs I need to actually hit, okay, when the user requesting for application. And it goes via the cloud controller, and it goes via some part of Diogo brain, and it goes via this BBS. This is bulletin board system. So what is this bulletin board system? Let me tell you one more thing. So whenever we will be deploying any application in Cloud Foundry, it is not something like, okay, so forever your application will run, right? Let's say like your system user, the application user, your end user is growing, your business users are growing, your business data are growing. There are high chances that you need to scale your application. Okay, we'll be seeing those scaling part, all those details. Don't worry about anything. Okay, I generally think, just remember, okay, I generally think whatever the way you might be thinking. Okay, so if any questions are coming, maybe you can ask, but every answers you will get during the session, at the end of the session, or at the end of the training. So don't worry. Anyway, so whenever as I was saying, so there will be scaling requirement. Okay, that means like, okay, let's say like there are applications we need to scale, like, and the same application becomes multiple instance. Okay, like this. So when to hit particular instance, right, based on the workload, right? So whenever user is requesting these things from this router, it goes via the cloud controller, and it should hit right kind of instances so that the load balancing will happen, right? So that the application should be available all the time. Okay, from the scalable perspective, right? So all those information, like, okay, so which instance needs to be hit for different instances application, those information will comes here, and it will work together with NC cancel zip. So bulletin board system constantly gives the information which instance is free to serve, which instance is available to serve. Constantly it gives the information to cloud controller, so that cloud controller gives the right kind of information to the router, and user gets the right kind of information. Like user don't want to wait. Okay, user, if you are searching for a application, right? Let's say like you are searching facebook.com, you don't want to wait for 1 minute, right? It should automatically come whenever you just type facebook.com, enter, it should come within fraction of second. It should not wait, right? So the responsibility of bulletin board system is that only. Okay, so then I think like the request will come here, and it will serve through this garden container. The final compilation will happen in the garden container, and it will serve to the end user. Whenever you need any kind of other services, it connects to the other services, and it will serve to the end user. So these are the main two perspectives. I hope you got some idea. If you are not, just repeat this recording multiple time and try to understand each and every word that I said here. Okay, and maybe you will be having better idea. Okay, enough talk. Let's move ahead to the next section. Maybe I will give very quick break. Okay, for 1 or 2 minutes if you have any questions before moving to the next section.
Partha, so I am currently working on BTP, and we are trying to follow this clean core approach. But what we have seen generally is that, I mean, there are a lot of requirements which cannot be met using BTP. So, I mean, like, is BTP not there? I mean, SAP is driving this clean core approach, but what I feel working on BTP is that it's not possible. I mean, we are kind of using event mesh heavily, wrap programming heavily, and batch of scheduler. But I mean, like, do you think that BTP is not yet a mature product the way SAP is claiming it for clean core?
Sorry. Yep. I love that you joined here in this training. I love some experienced folk also joining here, and I'm really happy like you were asking these kind of questions, because this is my motivation to give you to show you the right kind of path and right kind of technique and right kind of possibilities, right kind of architecture that you can build anything and everything in BTP. There is no other way than BTP or no other way than this cloud solution. Okay, everything is possible in BTP. Okay, so that's the way I have
Can I share
designed
a
the
small?
entire. Yeah, so that's the reason I
Okay.
am telling you this is a course I designed. I think like I put my thought almost for 3-4 months, and I put myself in your shoes, and I think whatever the possible questions will come from you, from your customer, from your requirement, everything is covered here. Don't worry about anything. Everything I will be covering here. Okay.
Sure.
But as of now, I'm
Thanks.
saying everything and anything is possible. Thank you. Okay, so now let's move ahead to the section 3, that is the BTP management. Okay. So in this BTP management part, what are the things that we will be covering here? Let's understand. We will be learning the data centers, the regions, okay, the availability zones, all those things. We'll go into the discovery center. We'll learn different services. As I was mentioning, there are nearly 100 standard services provided by SAP. What are those services? All those things we'll be learning here. And then we'll be learning the BTP landscape. Okay, how generally you will be setting up your BTP landscape, the global account, sub account, space, all those things. Not only that, I will be giving you the 3D model of the landscape as well. And then we'll be going for hands-on. Okay, hands-on in the sense we'll be setting up the BTP landscape here itself. We'll be onboarding the users. We'll be enabling the different services like Business Application Studio, the Launchpad service. And even we'll be preparing ourselves for the next sections, like we'll be setting up our cloud HANA cloud setup as well. All those things will be done, very important. So let's move ahead to the topics. Let's move ahead to the topics. You must be wondering why I'm putting this map, global map here. Because of the data centers. As I was saying, we are looking forward to the cloud solution. Okay, cloud means it is not the real cloud, right? It is the same computer with CPU, memory, RAM in a bulk stored somewhere in a central place. And we are utilizing those computation power. We are utilizing those infrastructure. So those infrastructure, where are those infrastructure? You will find those infrastructure from discovery center discovery center dot cloud dot SAP. Okay, we'll see that as well. So that means like those computers, those racks, okay, of hard disk, RAM, memory, okay, is stored different location of the globe. Okay, let's say like from BTP perspective. So these are the BTP data centers. Okay, and different color defines different providers. The yellow maybe the AWS, the blue maybe Azure. We'll see that. So here we need to understand some important terminology, that is region. Let's say like the first terminology is region. Okay, so we are trying to understand region. So region are nothing but the location or data center from different places where we have the computation power provided by SAP. So like let's say like we have region in UAE, Russia, Singapore, China, South Korea, South America, North America, okay, Australia, all those are regions. So inside the regions we have different availability zone. Okay, different availability zone. So what are those availability zone? Let's say in Russia, right? We have Russia region. So that means like if something goes wrong in certain place, let's say like some disaster happened, we should not lose our data. We should not lose our applications, right? So this is another beauty of moving things in your cloud, right? From on-prem. So we have different buildings located in different areas of the same region. Okay. Different areas of the same region. So from that means, so those are availability zones. So these are availability zone. These are availability zone. These are availability zone within the same region. So maybe like whenever you will be storing any application or data, it will copy to other availability zone for your disaster recovery purposes. So you understand the availability zone and region. After understanding the availability zone and region, let's understand now how to choose region. Okay, how to choose this region. So whenever you will be setting up your BTP account, maybe like everyone will not be responsible in your company to set up BTP account, because mainly the admin folks or mainly the management folks, or maybe like many times the team leads, okay, managers generally set up this BTP account. So whenever you will be setting up the BTP account, you have to choose the region, right kind of region, right set of region, right region. Okay. So how to choose the right region? Okay. So that is our main question. How to choose region? Okay. You have to think about three aspect of it. First is latency. Latency means you need to think about where are your application user. Where are your application user? Let's say like your application users are in China. So you don't definitely want to put your data center or choose your data center as Russia or somewhere in Europe or somewhere in UAE. One of the major reason is you need to access your application faster. You don't want any delay, latency, buffering, right? It's kind of like whenever you are watching Netflix or YouTube, if you are hitting the server, okay, you are hitting the server from North America or South America or somewhere in Australia, maybe you will get some kind of buffer. I don't want buffer. User don't want buffer. User don't want to wait. This is a modern world. So whenever we need to choose a region, we need to think about where is your majority of the user stays or using your application, from where. So you need to choose near to your user location. Let's say like your users in China, choose among from different region or availability zone from China itself. Then after understanding the latency part, we need to understand the data security as well. So a lot of time it happens that I have seen personally, if the application, the customer is there in UAE, Middle East, okay, they don't want to put the data or application somewhere else outside of their own country. And not only like they don't want, there are regulatory that they have to have the data, like let's say like customer data, transactional data, okay, any kind of sensitive data within the country. It should not go out of the country. So definitely you need to keep in mind the data security part. That means if you want to implement BTP application, you have to choose region within that same country. If it applies, like data security is applies there. And then comes the service availability. Service availability. Even okay, so to understand the service availability, let's go to the actual thing. I was telling you discovery center dot cloud dot sap. Let me just go there. Center dot cloud dot sap. Okay, let me switch my screen. Okay, I hope you are able to see my browser now. Just confirm once.
Yes.
Okay, so this is discovery-center.cloud.sap. Okay, and here you have this service catalog. Go to the service catalog. Here you will find all the services listed here. You can see 97 services in total SAP is providing for different purposes. And then you go to the filter, go to this globe icon, and you will see this region. And these are the providers: Alibaba, AWS, Azure, GCP, and even SAP. SAP means mainly the Neo. Okay, so we'll be focusing on AWS, Azure, and GCP mainly, sometimes in Alibaba. From BTP perspective, and what are those regions? We have 24 regions. That means from we can access, or we can choose region from 24 different locations like Australia, Brazil, Canada, China. And so let me just show the labels. So these are the labels. Okay. And here there are different license models. I'll go to this license model. Don't worry as of now. But as of now, just remember there are these different license models. CPEA, that means Cloud Platform Enterprise Agreement, pay as you go, and subscription based, and obviously trial or subscription available in SAP Store as well. So maximum of the customers I have seen, they are using this enterprise agreement, cloud platform enterprise agreement. There are a lot of benefit. They are getting a lot of discount as well. All those cost related things, all those money related things, all those pricing related things, I will come in later part. So you can see all the providers are providing all this license model. Now let me just go back to the catalog of this thing. And here you can see, okay, if I just go to the extension suite. So what are the things are there in the extension suite? We have ABAP environment, alert notification, application scaling, application logging, application services, authorization and trust management, automation pilot, bandwidth, application, business application studio. So all this, when cloud transport management, all these things comes under this extension suite. So people generally think, what is this extension suite? Okay. So whatever the required services or technologies or languages that you have to use to enhance the core system, that is called as extension suite. Okay. Anything. So you can see 63 different services we generally use for extensions. Okay. And I will be giving you not maximum, it is not possible to go through all the services, otherwise it will either become a very long session, or I will be giving you like very high level thing. I will not be able to give you some detailed thing. So to balance out the things, I will be giving you the information from theory, from the practical perspective, both perspective, and from real-time scenario perspective. Okay, so I will be using, it's not kind of like individual applications, but from real-time business use case perspective, we'll be seeing those application services. Then we have integration suite. And inside this integration suite, we have this connectivity service. We will see that we have destination, we have event mesh, integration suite. So all those things, even IoT and SAP data intelligence. So all those things are coming here. And even from capability perspective, SAP has given different kind of capabilities, services like, okay, business entity recognition, SAP conversational AI, document classification. Maximum of the services we will see here in our training. Okay. So what next? I was telling you I will be giving you one more thing, like the services availability option. Okay, so you have to choose region based on the services availability. Let's say if you want to use the RESTful ABAP programming, you need this service, BTP ABAP environment. Will not encourage, although. So here also BTP ABAP environment, CPA platform as pay as you go and subscription based model are available. Okay, and let's see what are the different regions are available. So you can see the regions are Europe, Japan, and US. If some customers are there in Russia, they are saying I want to use ABAP environment, and they don't want to put their data into Europe. You know what is the obvious region, right? Or Japan or US. Just imagine they will go for ABAP environment or not. Obviously not. And my intention is not to go to that direction. Okay, my intention was just to give you the idea. Whenever you have to choose the region while set up the BTP account, you have to check the services availability as well within the region. Let me go back without going into any kind of controversies. So here, let's say like alert notification service. Let's see what are the regions are available. So you can see almost all the regions we have this alert notification service. Okay, I'm from all the service plan. I mean all the providers. So this is how you have to choose all the regions while setting up your BTP account. Okay, now let me again switch back. I'm back to my slide. If I'm not, please raise. Okay, otherwise you don't have to raise. So here the next thing is I was telling you we'll be seeing the 3D model of this BTP landscape. Okay. So this is the 3D model of BTP landscape. You can see here. Uh, Here we have global account. So global account is kind of a like virtual thing. There is no. So global account is for mainly for the management perspective. Okay. And even sub account also is also management perspective. Okay. So as I was saying, so you need to choose the region, right kind of region. Let's say like you would be choosing, sorry, Europe U10, that is maybe like Europe Frankfurt. So you have to choose region based on this criteria. Okay, latency, data security, and service availability. And when you choose this region, okay, one more thing. So I will mentioning here. So here you can see the EU10. Okay, so there are different codes. Okay, for different region. And whenever you see 2-digit code like EU10, that means it is in Cloud Foundry. And if you see some single-digit code, that means it in SAP Neo. Just remember it. Or it's not very important. Anyway, so here we'll be having our full freedom. And I was saying anything and everything we can build. And we'll keep our core system very, very clean. Okay, so after the understanding the region, so on top of that region, we'll be having sub accounts for different purposes. We'll see those details in the next section. As of now, sub accounts means, let's say like you have different departments. Okay. Like let's say you have finance department, you have, or maybe like let's say you have different uh, business entities. Let's say like you are running different business entities, but your global account is same. Okay, you have different business entities, you are running your ERP system, let's say within 3 or 4 ERP system. I mean, let's say like you have ECC, but the ECC is, let's say like one ECC is from for Latin America, one ECC is from Asia Pacific, one ECC for Europe, EMEA, Europe, Middle East. Okay, so for that purpose, maybe you will be choosing and building different sub accounts based on your need. So this is totally customized. There is no fixed rule here, but you have to wisely decide how many sub account you need. Okay, and this may be like you want to segregate the different users. You want to segregate different billings. Okay, for different sub account. For that purpose, you can use different sub accounts. And on top of on inside any sub account, the actual things happens in the space. Okay, you can see inside the sub account we have the spaces. Actual things happens here itself. So that means our application will run and our data will reside inside some spaces. Application plus data, application plus data, everything, right? So be it like enhanced application, be it like integration application, everywhere we need application plus data, right? So it will reside in the space level. And as I was mentioning, you might need to deal with different other third parties or maybe like different SAP SaaS solutions. Okay, so let's understand a little bit on this multi-tenant and single tenant. Okay, so multi-tenant, what is multi-tenant? Maybe like sometimes you will heard multi-tenant or single tenant, or maybe like you will be hearing, okay, so spin up HANA tenant. What is that HANA tenant? Okay, in BTP. So when I'm saying this multi-tenant SaaS application, that means maybe like you can imagine, sorry, maybe you can imagine like success factor. Okay, you have success factor, your HR application, right? Employee centric central application. So that is a SaaS solution, right? Software as a solution, SaaS solution. And how generally SAP offers this SaaS solution? It is not something like it will give you the entire software to you to use it, right? Obviously not, right? SAP holds an account for the whole application or software, the success factor or Ariba or anything you take from the SaaS side, and it will give you some kind of customer ID, right? Some kind of customer ID, so that you will be able to access application. That means like SAP will be sharing the application, same application to multiple customer with using this customer ID. Okay, same application, they can give it to multiple customers and they can segregate it with using this customer ID. So whenever you will be logging into the success factor, you have to log in using the customer ID. So that means the infrastructure is same. And on top of that, they are just distributing it to your customers. That is called as multi-tenant. Okay, you are sharing the infrastructure with others. But what is that single tenant? Single tenant means whenever the single tenant concept comes, that means this particular component being installed exclusively for you, dedicatedly for you, behind the scene. Let's say like for HANA, you have let's say like 500 gigs of memory. Okay, or maybe like 50 core CPU. Okay, so those kind of computation and resources will be dedicated for you only when you will be spinning up of this HANA cloud tenant. That is called as single tenant. You are not sharing the infrastructure. So maybe like from this perspective, it is very logical because it holds your company data, okay, the core data, and maybe like some sensitive data, but that doesn't matter nowadays. But still, this is a single tenant concept. Okay, so now you understand the multi-tenant and single tenant concept, and on top of that, even also you might be using different other non-SAP softwares, non-SAP application, non-SAP databases like PostgreSQL. Okay, so that is also possible. So Postgre is also Postgre is kind of like deployed. Let's say like it is deployed on AWS, like outside of BTP. I'm not talking about the AWS for this BTP. Okay, outside of BTP. Okay, you have Azure and AWS, and you have deployed. You have your application here. On top of that, you want to connect to any of your third-party application. You can connect. You can connect to your any of your SaaS solution. You can connect. You can connect to your internal HANA cloud. You can connect, and not only that, you can connect within the application as well. So flexible, everything is possible, as I was saying. Okay, and not only that, even you can connect to your on-prem system as well. Okay, and you can build your application. So this is how the entire thing will work. Now let's go to the next part, that is BTP landscape. So as I was mentioning and shouting actually, so the global account and so global account is mainly for kind of a like management perspective, and even the sub account is also from management perspective. Okay, so one global account can have multiple sub accounts. Okay, so the ratio is sorry 1 is to star. So this is the ratio, and what is the relation between the sub account? And so every sub account actually have one organization is also kind of like it holds the information, like okay, the sub account information and all. So it is also something like the sub account, one sub account, between the sub account, it is like one sub account and one organization is having this relation. And one organization, inside the organization or sub account, you can have multiple spaces. Okay, so the relation is like 1 is to star. So this is the relation. Now without wasting any further time, so maybe like you can design your sub account and spaces like this as well. Okay, let's say like you have integration team. Okay, so you can integration team, application development team, analytics team. Okay, so BW team, then intelligent technologies who are mainly focused on the innovations. All right, so you can have like, let's say like you can have multiple sub accounts like dev sub account, quality sub account, prod sub account, and on top of that you can have multiple spaces. Okay, and maybe as I was mentioning, so not only from this dev, quality and production perspective, but also different kind of business entity perspective, you can have sub accounts. Okay, to have better manage your sub accounts for your billing purpose, for your pricing purpose, for your user role management purpose, everything. But you can maintain the user roles, and you can control from every level, from sub account level, from space level as well. And in every space or in every sub account, we'll be having services. We'll be seeing these things heavily now. So some services you need to actually instantiate some services at the sub account level, some services at the space level. Okay, we see those things. Let's say like business application studio, right? You need to spin up at the service level. You need to start, you need to consume this. I mean, you need to instantiate from the sub account level. Okay, and some of the other services, let's say like HANA services. Okay, or let's say like some of the services like the alert notification services. Okay, so or like job scheduling services. Okay, or transport management services. Okay, so those are the services. Maybe like transport management service is not a good thing. Maybe transport management service will come within same dev space, like this is here. So there are different services you can instantiate from different level, either from space level or from sub account level. And you can also restrict which are the user should be able to access these different services. Let's say like you don't want to give access of business application studio where generally we write our code to everyone in your global account. So you can restrict it to the users to whom you want to give the roles. Okay, and not only that, one more important thing, let's say like, as I was mentioning, you have to wisely choose your regions. Maybe like you are very spectacle to choose your production sub account where you will be having your live data. But whenever you will be having your dummy data, so maybe you can choose anywhere, right? So which is cost effective. Like if you are getting it cheaper than the actual region that you are using for your production account or production sub account, you can choose that for your development, because development will not hold much sensitive data, right? For that means like you don't have to much worry about this data security part for development or data latency part for development, right? So you have to choose wisely the different regions, different sub accounts, how to construct the sub account wisely. Now let's move ahead to the practical section and see, we almost cover almost over to 2 hours. I will be covering next half an hour hardly, and then we'll close the session and we'll take the Q&A. Okay, so let me go ahead and create the sub accounts and all those things. So for that, first let me first stop it. Let me share my screen once again. Now I'm back to my Chrome browser now. If I'm not, please alert me. If not, not required. Okay, so here mainly whenever you want to, so I believe you already have gone and created these things. I think like just anyone can confirm you already got this information, how to create the sub account.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
we got it.
yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Count. So here I'll can you please mute yourself? So I'll be using a different repo now. So forget about the repo, or maybe like if you are getting it in email, that's fine. So you will be getting this. So just remember github.com/SAP BTP Training. This is the particular repo, Git repo I have created for this particular training purposes. And whichever the code, whichever the information I need to share with you, I will be sharing here. So after this session, please give me your Git user so that I will onboard you in BTP, sorry, not BTP, in Git team. So you'll see like everything will be simulating as per the real project. It's not a dummy training. It's a real training. Maybe like you can say it's a real project itself. Okay. So here I will be onboarding you in the teams of GitHub. GitHub is a tool. I mean, GitHub is a online repo where we can actually maintain our code versions. We'll see all those things. Don't worry. So now next thing is, if you already have created your sub account, I will just also go to the same kind of sub account.hanatrial.ondemand.com. Remember account.hanatrial.ondemand.com for your trial account. And if you will be using productive account, it will become account.hana.ondemand.com. The trial will be omit. So here,
sorry for interrupting, Partha. Could you please ping these links, or you will share after this?
of course. So see, everywhere I am very much concerned about you. Okay, so I will be definitely sharing. So here, this SAP, sorry, just a second. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to SAP HANA dot on demand dot account dot HANA dot on demand HANA trial dot on demand.com. That is for trial. Okay, account dot HANA trial dot on demand.com. So after so here you can log in. Okay, let me log in first. Let me just log in. Go to your trial account. So whenever you have created your account in account.hanatrial.ondemand.com, you might have seen this particular sub account automatically being created and you don't have to worry about anything. But in real world, it is not the scenario. You have to create sub account, you have to create space, everything. How to do that? So you will be going to this create sub account option. And you will be giving the name, let's say like BTP batch, let's say like batch 2, let's say. Actually, you are the second batch or the mass batch of my training, BTP training. So I will be giving BTP batch 2 and I will be maybe referring batch 2 everywhere. Okay. So remember that.
Just a small questions out of the topic. So, I mean, have you covered already given a training on this thing, Node.js and all those things, or we are going to get that training? And because we are I mean, I am personally looking for that kind of training because we don't have experience in Node.js. So, just asking.
Who is asking?
So it's me, Bodhisattva. So I'm just just wanted to know that.
Yep, good question. Actually, yep. So I think maybe like many of you are knowing me first time. That's the reason you are asking this kind of question. But believe me, I put myself at your place and everything I thought of in this section of training and everything is covered. So don't worry about this basic thing.
Sure. Thanks a lot for this info.
Okay. Okay, so BTP batch 2 is my sub account name and sub account domain. I will keep it as it is, whichever SAP is suggesting. Subdomain name, you can give any name as per your choice. That is also fine. And then a region. So here you have to choose the region. So for trial account, SAP restricted yourself with using, you have to use this Amazon Web Services, AWS US East and Microsoft Singapore. So, but in the productive account, you have flexibility to choose any region as per your need. Okay, so I will be choosing this one. And parent, obviously, like it is a I do not have like control on my global account as because it's a trial account. But if you have multiple global account, you can also use which parent, like the global account you want to you can to create your sub account into. And then go to the create part. So it will create maybe like within few minutes. Let's wait. Okay, so until it will create, let me just go through other things as well. So here, whenever you will be logging in, you will see this global account, the global account ID, okay, and description, okay, and in this global account, how many sub accounts are there, okay, and what is the subdomain of the global account, and then the repository providers, okay. So maybe like you can use different other repository providers other than whatever SAP is saying, okay. SAP is giving by default outsiders, and then you can use boosters. So let's say like you want to activate or instantiate any of the services, let's say like the ABAP trial, okay, the ABAP system, ABAP like ABAP uh, for your RESTful ABAP programming, or maybe like some other services, let's say like RPA service, okay, or workflow management service. So what are the things like we generally do manually? SAP is giving you this booster option to accelerate your service service activation process. Okay, so whenever you will be actually using this booster, it will automatically create the sub account space, the user role, the destinations. So all those things will be automatically being created for you. Okay, so maybe you can try by yourself. It's very easy. It's just click, 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 done. And then no, don't try as of now. Otherwise, if you are not familiar, you will be little bit puzzled. So what is this? Whenever we'll learn about different services, then you will come back here and you will try this. Then system landscape. So whenever you want to integrate any other SaaS solutions, like as I was mentioning, you can integrate with your success factor, Ariba, Concur, those kind of things, like, and build applications, enhance those kind of solution. Like let's say like you want to enhance some kind of employee central solution for your success factor, you can come here and you can create a system and add your system actually, and connect to your corresponding SaaS solution like SuccessFactor, Field Class, sorry, Field Service Management, Commerce Cloud, Marketing Cloud, S4 HANA Cloud, and all those things. And you can actually communicate from to and back and forth of those kind of SaaS solution. Then entitlement, in the entitlement section, you will see what are the entitlement are assigned to the sub account, different sub account, as I have already created. Let's say like BTP batch 2, what are the entitlements, entity assignments I already have. By default, SAP has given these things. Maybe whenever you will be working in the productive account, you will not get by default these things. You have to actually enable this configure entitlement option. And service assignments for this global account, you have all those services with this many plans, with this many quota assignments. Okay, maybe we'll be gradually learning these things. Okay, don't worry about it, because there are a lot of services. It's not logical to go through all these things as of now. So as I was mentioning, okay, so let's go to our account explorer once again, and we have our sub account ready. Let's go inside this sub account. And here in the left hand section, you will see these are the different sections. Okay, the services, HTML5 application, connectivity, security, entitlement, and usage analytics. So as I was saying, you can see the usage of your resources, like all those resources, services, how much services you are calling or how much resources you are utilizing. All those things you can check it from here itself. This is more on from billing perspective. And then entitlements, as I was mentioning from the previous sub account level. Okay, so there you have the sub account, sorry, entitlements, service entitlements. Okay, so these are the services you already have here. Okay, and if something is not added, you can add it here. Okay, and then the security. Okay, before coming, let me go from top to bottom now. Okay, so let me go to the overview. So here, so we have this sub account name, this is the subdomain, and this is the tenant ID. Okay, so everything, okay, so everything has their own ID, and those are stored in different databases within Cloud Foundry. Those I was showing you in our 3D architecture of Cloud Foundry. Okay, so here you can see this is the tenant ID of my sub account, and this is my sub account ID, and this is created on this date, created by whom, and this is from this provider, this region. Okay, and this is obviously not a production account, and the beta feature is also disabled. Beta feature means sometimes SAP releases some kind of services which are not production ready, but you can try it out. So we can try it out, but in trial account those are disabled. Anyway, so here the one more important part is environment, multi-environment. Okay, so just remember, so that means like, okay, so whichever the so because these are on public cloud, right? So you are sharing different kind of resources from Amazon AWS, right? So that's the reason it's a multi environment. Okay, So you can say multi-tenant, okay, whatever. So and then we have this kind. These are the different entitlements we have, okay. And from the services perspective, I wanted to mention here. Just remember the three things. There are three kind of services, okay. One is the application service, okay. One is the application service. One is, okay, I'll show you when I will be actually enabling the service, okay. As of now, just let's concentrate on this Cloud Foundry environment. So enable Cloud Foundry environment. I do not have the Cloud Foundry environment automatically comes here. So I will be enabling the Cloud Foundry environment because I wanted to deploy my application, run my application, stage my application, start my application. Everything happens within this Cloud Foundry because that is the main engine. So I'll be choosing this standard plan because that is the only plan I have in trial. And the instance name. So I can give any instance name. Let's say like this is the dev. So instance name and organization name. Maybe like let's put it as it is. Okay. So as of now, because this is trial account, sometimes it will not accept. Okay, if someone else is already using this name. So instance name and organization name. I was telling you instance name. So organization is directly one-to-one mapping with the sub account. So one sub account will be having one organization. Okay, and then create. Maybe I will be overshooting a little bit time. Okay, so the important things are coming up now. So whenever you will be deploying any application, you have to remember, you have to mention these things. The API endpoint, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. So API endpoint, okay. API endpoint means like I have to tell, okay, my application will go to which kind of environment, which organization. So then I have to mention the organization name. I mean, mainly the organization ID, okay. Then I have to mention inside the organization, as I was mentioning, there can be multiple spaces. I need to mention the space. I will be creating the space now itself. As of now, the organization is being ready for me. Let it be ready. If it will take time, I will switch to other thing. Creation of the organization failed. The organization name enter already used by another. See, these things happens. Okay. These things happens. Okay. Anyway, so I think this is the same thing. So it's just because we are using trial account, maybe it is conflicting for the naming. Just use your unique name of your organization and it will be done. Let me go back to the trial itself. And so this even you can change the name here itself. Let me change the name. BTP batch 2. Oh, sorry. That BTP batch 2. I'll go inside the sub account. And I already have different spaces. I already have 2 spaces. Okay. So let me just create one more space. Okay. Let's like dev 3 or whatever. Let's like innovation. Okay. You can create the space like this. The space will also be created, and whichever the applications, whichever the service instances you already have particular to the space, you will be seeing it here itself. Okay. And we will not focus on Kima as of now. Kima is another environment to run your application. We only focus on mainly the Cloud Foundry. So we have the space as well. And now what we'll do is we'll just, okay, before going to the space, going inside the space, I will have to mention these things. So services, service marketplace, here you will find all the different services. So all the possible services. Like here you will see all the possible services and the different capabilities wise as well from the environment as well, and then services like, okay, so I was telling you the services, right? Different types of services. Okay, so service is one of the service, normal service, the application service, and environment service. So Cloud Foundry is an environment service. Okay, just remember Cloud Foundry is an environment service because you need the environment to run your application. There is an application service as well, like you can imagine business application studio. That is an application you will be using as a service. Like other services like the workflow management service, where you will be having the workflow my inbox. That is also application service. Okay. And whichever the services you need to actually use inside your application, let's say like connectivity service, destination service, job scheduling service, alert notification service. Those are the services you need to actually connect to your application. So those are the normal services which you will be actually using within your application. Okay. So application services, as I was saying, it is a kind of a ready-made application provided to you so that you can ready-madely use and utilize all the different functionality like business application studio. So just remember, application services we need to instantiate within the sub account. You will not see application services within space, but you can instantiate the services which are directly linked to your applications inside the space. So space level means application dependent services, and the ready-made application you will be instantiating within your sub account. So that is the difference. So this is sub account level. This is also sub account level. This is also sub account level. This is you can activate from sub account, but you can also activate from your space level as well. So then instances and subscriptions. So these are the already instances on subscription we already have. Okay, like business application studio, I already have it. Okay, so let me just go to. Okay, let me delete it first. Business application studio is gone because I wanted to show you how to activate the service, one of the service like the application service. That's the reason I deleted here. Let's actually create this service. Okay, the business application studio, because that is the most important thing. But I can understand you already have business application studio in your trial account because that was the first account being created automatically by you, and as because this is a trial account, SAP is helping you to understand the things by creating itself. Okay, but in real project you will have to create yourself. I mean, whoever will be your managing your sub account, who will be the admin, who will be the management person or the team lead, will be creating this services. Okay, anyway, so studio, let me just search studio. If you will not find this studio here, what you can do is you have to first put this service in the entitlement from your sub account level. Okay, maybe like the sub account, the service will not be available here. You will not see all the services here. Okay, so for that purpose, you first go to your sorry. Yeah, I was in the right place. Go to your sub account. Go to your your global account and entity assignments. You can always put the entities like this, select, and if the service is not available, you can always configure add service plan like this, and you can choose any of the service from here in this list. You can search it from here. Okay, and you can add it. Let's say like workflow service, you can add it. Okay, let's say I think workflow service is already available. That's the reason. So anyway, so these services are already available in my sub account. That's the reason it is not allowing me. But if there is something which is not available at your sub account level, you can first add it at your global account so that it will inherit to your lower part like sub account. So now let me go into this sub account once again. Let me go to this BTP batch 2 sub account, and I will go to the instances and subscription, and I will be creating. I will be actually creating a instance, let's say like business application studio. Let me quickly studio, let me search, plan is trial, create. So it will create. After creating creation of the service, okay, the service already created. Okay, service got created. Now you can go to the application, like go to application, this button, and you can have your application. This is kind of like application as a service. Okay, and if you will try to access this application, what will happen? Let's see. So you are able to create your space. So what I was trying to show you, not this. Let me just open this once again and try to access it. First of all, let me see what are the users. Okay, fine. Let's say like I have another user. Okay, let's say like I wanted to onboard another user. Now I'm going to the security part. I wanted to onboard another user. Let's say like I have another username. Okay, default identity provider. Identity providers are something like which will actually help you for single sign-on and the basic the basic authentication mechanism. Okay, uh, and the here we are using the SAP's default identity provider, but maybe like in your company you will be using Azure Active Directory or something else, or maybe like in SAP default identity provider many of the customers are using. So you should not have any issue with that. And let's say like I am onboarding another user. You can onboard another multiple users here to use your sub account, global account space, and all those services as well. My intention is to actually, we have seen this particular user was able to access the business application studio. But let's see, I onboarded this user. This user can, this user will be able to access this business application studio or not, right? So let me just switch my incognito window. I think I have to share the whole screen now. Okay, so let me share the whole screen, no issues. Okay, you can see my entire screen now. Now let me log in. So I just use the same business application studio URL, go here, and I am a second user, SAP Tech Engineer. Access denied. Okay, so how to give the access to the other user for a particular service? You have to apply the same technique for other different services in future as well. So whenever I onboarded a new user, let's say like this is a user, right? I'll go here and I will actually go to this rule collection, assign rule collection. here I can see, as because I already activated this business application studio service, I have these roles, right, in my sub account. I'll be just choosing all these roles. And maybe like I will be giving this sub account viewer role. That's it. Assign role collection. Okay, the rules collection is added now. Now, as because I am already giving the role, I should be able to access. Let me just close it once again, open the incognito once again, put the same business application studio. Login. Congratulations, you are able to access the business application studio as a new user. Okay, so what we will do here is we'll actually use this business application studio in our next session. As of now, that's it as of now. So you have seen like how to activate any services, how to give role of those service to some particular user. If it is a application service, you have to give the roles to the user, like the technical user or the functional user, whoever will be actually using that application service. And if it is a normal service which will be directly attached to your application, deployed application, which will be residing inside your space, you don't have to do this activity because those will be directly connected to your application using mta.yml file. Don't worry. Each and everything you will be get to know. So here, so you understood the security part now, then you understood the services part. Now you already know the Cloud Foundry space. So Cloud Foundry space will go inside this space, and HTML application, HTML5 application. So still SAP is not able to put this HTML5 application within Cloud Foundry. This is very strange. So maybe like in future, you will see HTML5 application within this Cloud Foundry. So whenever you will be deploying any HTML5 application, that means UI5 application or Fiori application, this will be deployed as a separate application. This will not come inside the Cloud Foundry space. Okay, just keep in mind. And then connectivity service, if you want to connect to your on-premise system, you have to definitely connect with using some protocol. You have to use some kind of mechanism, like you have to use like HTTP, HTTPS, RFCs, those kind of protocol, or you have to use, let's say, like these are the things types. Okay, and these are the application, these are the API URLs, OData URLs that you already have in your backend system, on-premise system. Okay, or not only on-premise, some other third-party systems. And these are the options like internet on-premise and private link. Private link is a new option. If someone is very interested, I'll be explaining, but not now. And now the next thing is authentication. Here are different authentication mechanism to connect to your different other system, like be it on-premise system, ECC S/4HANA system, or be it some other third-party system, be it some other SaaS solutions. You have to use different kind of authentication. It's up to you. You may have no authentication as well, but you'll crashing your applications, you'll crashing your systems. Anyway, so then Cloud Connector, if you need to connect to your on-premise system, this is the SAP's proprietary technology that will help you to connect to your on-premise system. Okay, so this Cloud Connector also will be hosted somewhere in your DMZ, demilitarized zone, and you will be installing that Cloud Connector and then connect to this BTP, and through this BTP Cloud Connector, through this destination, you will be able to access the resources, the data of your backend systems. So after learning all these things, now go to this Cloud Foundry space level and we'll see, okay, so we have different spaces and we can see like the innovation space also comes here. And let's say like I will go to this innovation space as of now. I'll be creating a new So in the space level also you can see like we have the service marketplace and the instances. I was saying you, okay, so some of the services you can instantiate it inside the space level as well. And what are the other things you can do? So inside the space you'll be mainly having this applications which we'll be deploying, okay, and the different other informations like how many instances the application have, the requested state of the application, the quota of the disk quota of the application, memory application, actions of the applications, like you can also delete and all these things of the application. Whenever you will be deploying application, it will come here. And here also, as I said, service marketplace is there, and instances also you can create from here as itself. And you can onboard some user within this space as well. Okay, let's say I have onboarded a new user, SAP Tech Engineer, in the sub account level, but that particular user is not here. So at every level, maybe at the sub account level, maybe at the space level, you can manage your users. You can manage your user roles, right? So those kind of things you can do everywhere. You have the control, you have the flexibility, you have the full freedom. One more important thing, SAP HANA Cloud is a very important part of your space, of your BTP space. Let's go to this SAP HANA Cloud and try to create a service instance of it. So so as of now, let's see like what are the service instances are there in the space. There is nothing because I have created on a service, but that is in the sub account level, not at the space level, right? So sub account level, I have the service. I have a lot of service actually. If you go to the instances subscriptions of the sub account, I already have a lot of service, and newly I have added this business application studio. I have all the other services as well, right? So if I will go to this space, I will go to the innovation, I'll go to the SAP HANA Cloud, I'll create a new instance, SAP HANA database. Here I'll just show you how to create rest of the things. You can also do it. Sign in with another account, default identity provider. So you also have to do these things after this session so that you will be ready for our subsequent sessions. Maybe like not for tomorrow. You can take time and you can instantiate these services as well. But for sure, the business application studio, you take it and make it by today itself, whichever I have shown to you. Or I think like it's already there, yes, because you are using the trial account. So this is the type, like you can choose the type SAP HANA Cloud, SAP HANA Database, SAP HANA Data Lake. I'll be using the SAP HANA Database as of now, not Data Lake. Next step. Next step is like you can see by default for the trial account, SAP will give you 30 gigs of memory, 2 CPU core, and 120 gigs of storage. This is the infrastructure and computation power. Now, which organization, as because this was the new organization I was trying to create, I think, but this is the organization. Sorry, this is the sub account, and this is the sub account, existing sub account. And here, within which space you have to choose to reside or to put your HANA database, right? I can choose the innovation, let's say, because in innovation I do not have this uh, HANA services, HANA cloud actually, and I have to give some instance name, let's say like batch 2. Okay, so BTP batch 2, let's say, and I'll be giving some admin password, whichever the admin password you will be giving. Just remember that. A little bit slow now because I will remember this thing. What is this? Okay, content at least don't work. Correct. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, two lowercase. Okay, sorry. Okay, and after giving the instance name and the administrator password for DB admin, just keep in mind or note it down somewhere, and then go to the next step, and you will be almost done. So here in the product tab account, you can increase the memory, but here I do not have any option. It got restricted here for the trial account. And then go to the next step, and create now, let's say. So it will take time, at least 15-20 minutes time, okay, to instantiate this particular HANA database, okay, for you. So you can also do the same and keep it ready with you. You will need this in our subsequent session. Anyway, now let's go back to our, so you can see like these things will get created and when it is running like the database, it will show you the started state. So like this, you can create it and let me know if you have any issue while creating the HANA database, HANA cloud instance. So we are almost done with our services, almost like at the kind of a basic level. Now it's time to actually develop our Hello World application. Let me just go back to my thing and I will take any topics. Sorry, yeah.
Just one thing. Can I get this recording today itself because I missed some part of the training?
Of course.
Thank you.
Okay, then next go to the let's go to the next part, like section 4, where we'll be actually preparing for our first application development, and then we'll be deploying our first Hello World application. Very simple. Okay, let's see. So here you can see, here I wanted to put like what are the different development tool and IDEs that we can use to build our applications. Where is my pen? Okay, so we can use CLI, okay, to deploy the command line interface, Cloud Foundry command line interface, SAP Business Application Studio, Visual Studio Code, okay, and there can be any other editor or interfaces from where even you can use like command prompt as well. That is also fine. So we'll first see today like how to actually deploy our application with using the CF CLI, and we'll be using the command line there, because if you understand these things, it will be much more clear how the things happens in the Business Application Studio, how the things happen in the Visual Studio Code. But in our main sessions, we'll be using this. In our subsequent sections, all those things we'll be using inside our Business Application Studio. So without wasting any further time, let's move into the actual topic. So first of all, let me just give you another overview, like how to actually install the CLI command line interface, because that is also important for you. Like maybe like you don't know. I'll be assuming you don't know anything. Okay, so don't worry. So CLI command line interface, what I can. Okay, so you go again like github.com SAP BTP training. Let me just go to the SAP BTP training. And here also I will be onboarding you, or maybe I made it public as of now. So go to the CLI and go to this download section, and over here you can download the installer. Like let's say like you want to download the installer for Windows 64, you download it from here. Okay, unzip it and click. You are done with your CLI. So you just do it by yourself. It's very easy. And after that, whenever you are done, let me now go to my day one. I'll be creating a new folder. Let's say hello folder. Here I am just copying the entire path. Okay. How to create or how to start your application. And believe me, like this look complex maybe, but whenever we'll be moving to business application studio, as because this course is more and more focused on architecture, more and more focused on low code and no code approach. So you will not have to do a lot of things, but to understand what is the behind techniques or what is behind scene methodologies happens, if you understand this, it will help you further for your analytical purpose, for your like debugging purpose, for your troubleshooting purposes. So let's say like I am going to my directory and I will be creating my first Node.js application. Okay, so Node.js application, for any Node.js application, let me just show you. Okay, what would be the basic structure of Node.js application? Oh my God. I think before going to the Node.js application, let me just show you some of the CF commands. Okay, let me put it here. Commands. CF commands. Okay, so CF commands, I have already noted down some of the important Cloud Foundry commands. Okay, like CF login, CF marketplace, CF login, CF marketplace, CF build packs, CF apps, CF this blah, CF scale, all those things, CF MTAS and all those things. Maybe you will not be using all those commands from the first day itself, but let me just show you how to use the command so that you can try it by yourself as well. So let's say like I am using this command line, command prompt, and whenever you have already installed your CLI, as I have already shown you, where from you have to download it, just install it, the command line interface CLI, and then use CF login as I am mentioning here. Okay, as I am mentioning here. So maybe like first time, what you need to do is you have to use CF login hyphen CF login space hyphen a space application URL. So where from this you will get this application URL, you will be getting this application URL from your global account, sorry, sub account. So this is the application URL. When we instantiated our Cloud Foundry environment, we have this application URL API endpoint. So you just copy it from here, you go back and use, okay, let me just do it the similar way, CF login minus a, and if I just copy the same thing, I believe it is minus a. Okay, yeah, and this one. Yeah, I think it's already added. That's the reason it is just taking by default. Okay, CF. So my API endpoint is this one, and if I want to log in, it's like I want to log in and I want to see whatever the things are there in my system. It's like I'm logging in. It is authenticating me and it is giving me different organization. Okay, so you will see wherever you have the authorization to go inside sub account, maybe like I am adding myself in one of the new sub account, maybe like this is the new sub account. Let me just show you. Let me first show you. Okay, let me log out first from here. Let me log in. I already have it here. User info. This is SAP Tech Engineer user. And here, let's say I have this Zapier team, this sub account. Okay, and this is the sub account ID. Okay, so I have, let's like see, you can see I have two sub account here, and one sub account I have already just given access from other account. Okay, so I have these two and one more. That's the reason I have three sub account or three organization showing in my login page. Let's like this is 125.125.80 B6, 121.5.80 B619 B9. Yeah. So this is my sub account. Okay, let's say like I wanted to log in into this sub account. I will just use one, and inside that sub account I must have two space. This is the dev app team and quality app team. So you can see dev app team and quality app team. Let's say like I will go to the one. So I have logged in within this with this user, and this is the sub account means organization, and this is the space. So let's just check few of the other commands you can check from yourself as well. Let's say like I wanted to check the marketplace, CF marketplace. So it will give you all the services available within that sub account. So you can see, right, all the service. Okay, all the service. So these are the different services, whichever you already seen. You have already seen from this service marketplace is coming up here. So what I mean to share here, here is this particular beautiful screen that you can see, Fiori like screen. It is just a screen that is developed by SAP. Rest of the things was free. Okay, so these are the free thing. So Cloud Foundry is a free, then CLI is free, everything is free. And whenever Cloud Foundry, you will be installing Cloud Foundry, maybe like in your local system, it's not needed, but you can do it for your experimental purpose. You will be able to see all these things. And everywhere we have API to access different services or different things, right? So everything is kind of like, okay, on top of that, like SAP has onboarded those services, of course. Okay, of course SAP has onboarded those services, so that's the reason you can see it here. But everything, what I mean to say here is like everything is already available within Cloud Foundry, and SAP is giving different kind of skin on top of the Cloud Foundry, and SAP is also providing different kind of backing services so that you can accelerate your application development process. Okay, enough said. Now let's move ahead and go back to my slide. Now CF build packs. Okay, so let's see what are the build packs. CF build packs. So what are the build packs? SAP Cloud Found, not SAP, like this is the Cloud Foundry build packs. Okay, has already been given. Okay, like we have build packs to deploy Java application, to Ruby application, .NET application, Node.js application, Go, Python, PHP, Nginx, binary, and some of the SAP build packs are also available. So these are the build packs are responsible, I think, for the HTML5 applications. So anyway, so these are the different build packs, and not only that, you can also create your own compiler, your own language, programming language, and you can also onboard in Cloud Foundry, and you can distribute it others so that others can also use it. And I wanted to see someone from you in future maybe will build application, I mean build pack and distribute to others. Message me if you are doing these things. Okay, then after understanding these things, then let's say like the CF apps. Okay, so what are the CF apps? If I will put this CF apps, what will happen? So what are the applications are already exist in my sub account, and in that particular space it will appear here. Okay, so these are the applications I already have deployed to the sub account and space. You can see these many applications, but most of the applications are in stopped state. Requested state is stopped. Okay, let me just go back again. I'm just trying to compare everything so that you can understand each and every topic. Let me go to the space level again. Go to the Dev app team, and these are the 22 services. If I see here, these are the 22 services. You can see it here as well. And all the services are in stopped state. You can see from here as well. Okay, from here as well. So, and even you can do different operation from command line itself. Let's say, like, as I'll be showing you how to deploy the application. Not only that, you can start, stop, and making different instances, scale your application. All those things is possible from command line itself. Basically, this is the command line. This is the CLI command line interface, CF command line interface will be embedded in our business application studio. When we'll be actually seeing in our business application studio, which is again a beautiful screen in front of you. Okay, there SAP will be helping you to actually do different kind of operations without loading much commands, without loading much code, without loading much things. So there will be clickable things. So same thing. So there also SAP is using command line interface. Everywhere SAP is using the free tool and making their own tool and making money. That's the game. So now here, let me just go back to the other things like I will show you. I will be going to these topics later on, maybe like tomorrow. Okay. So as of now, I think you already understood how to use those kind of commands for CF Cloud Foundry commands. You can usually do it by yourself as well. So now the next part is, and the last part is the first hello world application development using our Node.js build pack. So we'll be using Node.js build pack. Out of these build packs, you can already see these build packs. Out of these build packs, we'll be using mainly the Node.js build pack. Okay, we'll be using this Node.js build pack, and we'll be developing our applications. And not later on, like in after 1 or 2 sessions, we will be start developing our applications, not the bare Node.js, but in a proper framework with using CAPM, CAPM, Cloud Application Programming Model with Node.js. So that's where your learning curve will be hugely reduced. You don't have to learn whole lot of thing for developing your application using Cloud Application Programming Model for Node.js build pack. If you develop application purely in Node.js, you have to do a lot of things. But if you will be developing applications using Cloud Application Programming Model, that is a framework provided by SAP. SAP has already thought through different things and given you different kind of structured solutions, frameworks, tools. There you will not have to learn a lot of things. Just for your encouragement purpose. Now, but we are engineers. We used to dig into the different topics. We used to understand detail level of each and everything. So that's the reason we will be digging into basic of Node.js as well. So as I was mentioning, so in Node.js application, okay, so we have mainly whenever we have mainly this thing package.json. So this package.json will be responsible to hold information for different libraries that we'll be using throughout our Node.js application. Then we'll be having server.js, or maybe you can give any name, index.js or any name. So this will be your server for your application where maximum of the business operations logics will execute inside the server.js. And the third thing is the manifest. Manifest dot YML, which will later become MTA.YAML. Okay, so don't worry about that. As of now, just concentrate manifest.yml file where we will be putting the descriptor, deployment descriptor, okay, for our Cloud Foundry. So this is deployment descriptor. Okay, so without wasting for any further time, let's move ahead and let's build a quick application within this folder in my local system, and we'll be pushing the code. We'll be deploying this application to Cloud Foundry as well. So how to do that? Let's go back here as well again. So let me just let me put the command on prompt again. Let me go to the directory and npm init. So this is the mechanism you can initiate your Node.js application, but this is not mandatory. Okay, we'll see, like, this is not at all required when we'll be actually developing our CAP-M applications. Sorry. So package name, you can give any package name. Okay, and then the versions, you can give any versions, otherwise enter whichever the default thing it will take. So for batch 2, and then the entry point I want server.js, not index.js. Then test command, I will not put it now. Git repository, as because we are not moving to the Git session as of now, will not use this. Keyword, as of now we are not using this. Author, license, this thing. So this way you will see one of the file will get generated. Okay, so I think like I need to put yes. Yeah, so one file getting generated here. Okay, package.json. So you can use anything, like you can use Notepad as of now so until we'll be moving to the business application studio. So you can use Notepad, you can use Notepad++. I have another tool, Sublime editor. Let me just open Sublime text editor. You can use this tool as well. This is also a good editor, but not mandatory. You can use anything, Notepad++ as well. So I'll just go and put my directory, put it here and select folder. So I don't need this as of now. Okay, fine. And I'll just go to this package.json. So this is the package.json automatically gets generated, right, with this information. Now, as I said, I need two more component, server.js and then manifest.json. Manifest.yml. I'll be just creating the server.js file. So new file, I'll be just saving it as server.js. Server.js. Server.js is ready, and I'm pretty lazy now. I'll just copy this. I'll explain the things. Well, let me add so that I can see. Copying it from PowerPoint, maybe it is not in the right format. I'll just put it here. I'll explain it now. These things. So let me just make it more readable now. Yeah. So this is the Express module. Okay, so Express library package that you are actually kind of importing. If you are remembering your college world, if you are not doing any kind of programming, maybe like in the college world, you used to use C programming, and there you used to use hashtag include stdio.h. I believe I remember like that. So similarly, here also you need different kind of package, and as because I need to make our application server, Express is our default package. So I am just importing Express. for to make application server, and after that you are instantiating the express module, and after instantiating you are saying in which port the application server, which port. So every application need a port to run, right? So in which port the app server will run. So what you can do is I can tell you, like, you can omit this as of now. I will tell you how, why. So what will happen is, it will, I am just telling, okay, so I'm just creating a variable port and I'm just putting 5000. That means my application will run in 5000. And here this kind of things, app.get, this kind of thing, just as of now, remember, it is not mandatory. Okay, so going forward the code will be automatically generated and you don't have to worry so much things. So just remember, here we are trying to create a entity. So if you remember, if you are from ABAP background and if you are familiar with OData APIs, there we generally have entity set, right? Entities, right? So this is kind of an entity. Okay, and this is, we are trying to make a API. We are trying to create a API, and inside the API, what we are doing is, this is a get call API, and here we are simply printing. So this is console.log. Whenever we just generally put any logs to print, we have to use console.log. You can use any kind of variable, you can use any kind of variable, you can use any kind of text, whatever. So here request and response, as I said, like this is called as route. Okay, creating API with route. Route name is test. And here we have request and response. Please, I will be giving you enough chance to ask any questions. Request, response. So this is kind of like input. I'm making it very simple now. Okay, output. And whenever you want to take any value from anything, like let's say, like I will be putting some request. Let's say, like after the URL, I'll be just putting after the URL. It's like your URL will end up like test. Okay, and let's say HTTP. And what you can do is you can use let's say, like user. Okay, user equal to, let's say, Partha. So this particular parameter value we can use this request dot query dot parameter name, and we can get the parameter value, and we can print it here. And here I am using another variable like the test, like let's like test one. Whenever you will be putting test one, you will be getting this. So, and I will be just, so this is console.log is for internal console, and if you want to display it outside, like in the browser, you can check, or maybe like outsider, so you can check it with using response.send. So response means like it will be responding back whoever will be requesting this API. So let's say, like I will be querying this API, I'll be just putting this API in the browser and hit enter, and I am saying like Partha, so it will just go to this and it will execute this lines and print these things internally, and at the end it will send me, like response means send, response means output, and it will output like hello. And as because I'm giving like Partha in the query. Okay, so let's like this is the test one, so you will be getting the hello Partha. So like this, you will be creating your first Hello World application in Node.js, and to listen to the port. Okay, so we have to use the again the same express instance, and we are saying express.listen, and the port number that we have already defined it here, and we are just putting a console. This is not mandatory. And console.log, we are just giving it here. So why I put this thing as well here? So you will see in the whenever I will be actually running the application, okay, running the application in the sense like I'll be just start the application. You will see, as because Node.js will run one by one line and it will not wait for any line to execute completely, but it will go to the next one. Okay, so it is kind of like so it will not wait, okay, for any kind of responses. So that's the reason it will come and first print this welcome.zapier, because one by one it will run here and then it will print this one. We'll see that, because whenever we'll be actually executing this, then only it will print. Okay, otherwise it will not print. Let's see how it goes actually. So this is very simple thing. Now I don't want the manifest.yml file. I was telling you that manifest.yml is a deployment descriptor, because I want first the application to be run in locally in our system, in our laptop, in my laptop. So for that purpose, let me first execute it. Okay, so what you can do is you can, after finishing the things, you can do npm start or you can put another command. So npm command is one of the command. You can actually start your server, Node.js server or Node.js application. You can see Node.js welcome Zapier, and then server is running on port 5000. So server is running on port 5000. Okay, so welcome Zapier printed first, then server is running on port 5000. This printed later on, because it first executed the main thing and then it goes to the port to expose. So that's the reason it happens like this. Anyway, so now the application is running. Anyone can access the application from my computer. I mean, within my computer from the localhost 5000. Let's see if I will be trying to access this application from localhost 5000. So if I'll just put localhost 5000, what will happen? Cannot get error, because what I have not mentioned any kind of root. Okay, and what happens behind the scene also, nothing happened as it is. Okay, how it was running initially. So I have this root. Okay, if I need to access any kind of resource, this is the resource, right? This is kind of my logic or any kind of resource. So for that, I will be actually using this route like /hello or here in this scenario test. So here you can see hello undefined, because I did not pass anything, any parameter. Okay, so whenever it is printing this hello and trying to get request.query.test1, there is nothing, right? So that's the reason I am not getting anything. So hello undefined. But what happened here? So console.log, it should print how are you and the and undefined, I guess, right? Let's see. So how are you undefined? Okay, so now you can understand. Now you can just go ahead and put test1 is a parameter and you can give any name. Okay, and hit enter. Hello Partha. So I am getting here hello, how are you, and undefined. So here it is undefined because the reason is I'm using a different parameter name is user, and here I'm using test1. As because this is test1, I am getting it in output. Okay, response.send output, but from the console.log I'm just getting how are you and I'm getting it undefined. If you use test1 here as well, you will get the Partha here as well. Anyway, so this is how you will be developing the application, Node.js application. You can see it is very simple. Whatever the code you will be writing, you will be writing it here itself. Rest of the things are common thing. And here also like same thing, declaring variables, then declaring array, declaring loop. I mean, putting the loop, put some business logic, calculation logic. You can connect to database. You can do some query operation. All those things you can do, but not in a extensive code mechanism, but you will be getting like a lot of tools here so that you can build your application with putting minimum effort, with putting minimum code, okay, with almost no code. So we'll gradually move into that topic, but this is better to understand how the normal things works. Now, as I was saying, I need a manifest file to deploy my application to my Cloud Foundry. So let's move ahead and create, sorry, not from here. Maybe I can just create the manifest.yml file from here itself, and I'll just save it. Manifest.yml file, save it. And here again, I'll be just copying it from here. Maybe I'll be copying. I have another copy. I was copying from, so here this is very important. Okay, very important. Whenever you will be actually dealing with YML file or YAML file, it is very important. Okay, to check the indentation, like the line spaces. If something goes wrong, your application will not deploy. Okay, so let's like batch 2, batch 2. I'm giving the application name and host name as same as test batch 2 or hello batch 2. Batch 2. And I am telling like I'll be using Node.js build pack. As of now, okay, so I forgot to mention. So in my local computer, I also install Node.js as well. That's how it is executing. Okay, so you can also go to the Node.js. You can download the Node.js. You can easily download it from anywhere. It's like Node.js download. Node, you can go to the nodejs.org. Okay, and you can, if you're using Windows, Mac OS or whatever, so you can just download and you are ready. Just install it and your Node.js will be ready with your application. So your prerequisite is download Node.js, install it, download CLI, install it, command line interface, install it, and then you start building your Node.js application. It's very simple. And this kind of hassles I don't want to take. That's the reason I will be using Cloud Foundry. So everything, whenever I'll be deploying to Cloud Foundry, it should automatically manage. Cloud Foundry should automatically manage, because Cloud Foundry promises me at the beginning it is a platform as a service and it can do everything. I just have to worry about my code, my business logics. That's it. So we are very much relying on this Cloud Foundry. Okay, so that's the reason I'm saying like, hey Cloud Foundry, you use build pack for my application, that is Node.js build pack. Okay, and you use default memory as 128 gigs, sorry, 128 MB. Okay, and whenever the application will be deployed, you as of now, like manually what we have done is like we have used npm start, right? Correct. Or even you can use node server as well. Okay, node server.js. So here I'm saying after deployment of the application, I need to first start this application, right? So that my end user will be using this application. So after deploying, you use this command node server so that my application will start in a start mode. That's it. Very simple. Now save it and start deploying this application. How to deploy? So again, I will do what I'll do is I will to put Control C here, CF login. So CF login. So API endpoint is this one, and I'll just put my CF login. Let me use a different. Oh, I would have cleared that as well. That's fine. So I'll just go from the beginning. Hello, here I have my application. Copy it. CD this one, CF login, and I will be giving my credential. CF login. So authenticating me. Now we have seen my sub account is this one, space is this one, and as I was mentioning, you have to just build your code and do cf push. That's it, right? So I have already my application ready. So you have to basically go to your manifest.yml YML directory, okay, because that is a descriptor directory, deployment descriptor directory, and then you will go to the cf push. So let's see. So it will actually push the application to Cloud Foundry. We'll deploy it. The deployment failed. So root quota exit. Okay, exist. Root quota exceeded. This is the problem with. So whenever you will see this kind of problem, okay, so it's better to understand all those kind of problems as well. In that way, you will learn how to troubleshoot the things. But I think like we are a little bit overshooting the time. But I guess first date is fine. I will be just covering the things in the next 5 minutes. So what we'll do is I'll just go back again. Let me check I have some other space or not. QA. Yeah, let me put it here. I don't have anything. Okay. So CF login again. Number 1, and this time 2 space, second space, CF push. Okay, I think I am using the same sub account. That's the reason it is not allowing me. Let me just check. Sorry. I have yeah, QS sub account. Okay. Let me try to deploy it in my other sub account. Let's see. The reason why it is not allowing me because I already deployed a lot of applications and I already have a limited quota. Maybe I have to delete some of the application root, then only I'll be able to do it, as because I am running the things in the trial account and I have some limitations. So what I'll do is I'll just let's see I have what are the things I have here. In that case, I will be using this one. Otherwise, I have to clean all those things. Yeah, I think here, yeah, I have less things. Okay. So say like CF login again, and yeah, to a 0345 to a 0345 trial. Look at the first and space. I have dev2 innovation dev 1. I logged in and CF push. Yeah, it is not working. But it will fail. I'll tell you why. So in this sessions, different sessions, I'll be intentionally putting different kind of bugs so that you will understand how to troubleshoot the things as well. Maybe I will be start listening to your questions. You can put your questions. I can start answering. So it is got failed. In between, I am just giving you how and why it got failed. And then, so let's say like this is the one. Okay, so whenever the applications, so as of now it shows started, but ideally it is not started. You'll see error. Okay, so inside the application you can just go to the logs. Okay, and you will see different logs. Okay, so here, from here you will get different errors. Okay, so let's say like this is the error. Okay, so error cannot find module express. Okay, first thing, right? So that means like I have used. Okay, so what I have done is like I have used this Node.js module here, and I do not put it here in the package.json. Package.json is something like whenever you will be deploying, it will first look into this manifest file to deploy main purpose, and it will look into the package.json to check whether you already put those dependencies libraries here itself or not, package.json. So how to do that, how to put that? So npm install express. Now done. Now you can see node on dependencies appearing here, the express, and this is the latest version. Okay, so now I should be okay. I will just go again and see a push. Again it will fail. I'm repeating. If you have any questions, please ask. If you have got exhausted, don't worry. Yeah, sorry.
Partha, one question first of all. So, I mean, so today evening, let's say we go through this. I mean, is there any place where we can load our questions or something like that? Because I mean, not all questions will come to our mind right now, right? So I was just
Exactly.
asking, is it?
Valid question. So, but I guess you already joined the WhatsApp group.
Right, we did.
No.
We did.
Yep. So put your question there.
Okay. And one more thing. So I see there are a lot of confusion about the route parting, app router and this thing. So at the beginning of the Node.js program, when you mentioned route, so is it the same thing?
No, it is not the same thing. So route means here I am mean to say whenever you have any kind of APIs at the end, what are the entities that you wanted to access? It is kind of a like entity.
Oh, okay, got it.
Like that means here what I mean by route is you can have multiple entities, right? So whenever it will execute, which particular resource it will go. Okay, let's say like you have test 1, similarly you have test 2, test 3, something like that. So where it will go, where your code execution will go based on the user query. Okay, user query in the browser or somewhere else, from somewhere else. So it is something like where the execution happens and what are the resources it will actually execute. So that's it. And it will not actually work because I intentionally put some kind of thing. It will not actually open. It will not actually start it. Okay. And see, the thing is, whenever any application gets deployed, so you can see droplet, you can see container, you can see different things, staging and all those things, and the application ID, the cell. Okay. So all those things, whichever we have learned so far, or all will come here. Okay, so if you understand this thing, whenever you will be facing a major problem, if you understand this thing, you can easily identify where exactly I am having issue. Okay, so you can easily identify, you can solve your issues very quickly. So that is the main purpose, to understand these things. But as I said, it is not at the first day you have to understand all these things. Gradually you will understand. Okay, so it will actually fail, and the reason for this failure is failed to make TCP connection refused. Okay, if you remember, I was just and let me go back to my PPT. I remove this one. Whenever you are running the code locally, you can mention 5000, but if you are running the code in a server, I mean in Cloud Foundry don't understand this 5000. Whatever the port Cloud Foundry have available, it should allocate for you. And in the Cloud Foundry, you will not even mention the code, mention the port while actually accessing your application, right? You will be directly accessing with your URL, the deployed URL. So those port will come from your VCAP service from your environments for Cloud Foundry. So this is the reason I'm just putting a OR condition. First check this and then this. Okay, now I'm just putting it now and deploying it once again. So it got failed already. I'm just deploying it again. CF push. Yep.
The question in the chat, like how compatible BTP is with ECC?
BTP with ACC. There is no relation, although, okay, but good question. BTP, as I said, it can, you can build any kind of application, be it extension application, be it integration application, be it data centric application, for any kind of thing. Maybe like you can build a standalone application completely in BTP, or even you can enhance, let's say like standard sales order application for your ECC inside BTP. Everything is possible. So that means it is not ECC about, it is not all about ECC or S4HANA or anything else. ECC S4HANA is just another system, just another software. As I said, BTP can connect to any kind of software, any kind of system, any kind of data sources. So BTP, now from BTP perspective, is it SEC, is it S4HANA, is it Sybase, is it Google.com? Doesn't matter.
I understand that. My question is more specific, Partha. How easy it is? Because with S4 it has tightly integrated, right? Otherwise you need to go to event-driven or sidecar integration. So from your experience, how easy it is? Like whether
No,
ECC
your voice was I think you can have to repeat your question. Can you please repeat?
my question is little specific, Partha. Like from your experience, how easy it is? Because there are standard adapters, right? But with BTP, with ECC, you may want to sidecar or event-driven kind of a connection. So,
Is this the same person who is experienced with
based on your
BTP?
experience, how can you are handling this?
Your voice is breaking a lot.
Oh, okay, I'll post it in the chat.
I got your point, but see again, I think like you are the same person who is working in BTP, or you are not having any experience.
No. That's me. That's Bodhisattva.
Okay.
No, I'm not that person.
Okay, fine. So then your question is absolutely valid. Okay, you can understand your psychology. So see, the thing is, when you are saying sidecar approach, in-app extension, here we'll be mainly talking about the side-by-side extension. Okay, just remember side-by-side extension. This keyword, side-by-side extension. Okay, so it is whenever we are saying side-by-side extension, you have more flexible option, because previously, as I said, you used to do enhancement within the user exits. Let's say SAP has not given the user exits. What you will do? You will request SAP, give me the exits, or maybe like I will just give, I will just
Enhancement spot only.
correct. So here you don't have that kind of restriction. You can do anything and everything. It's a free playground. And as because it can connect to anything and everything, you can do any application development.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
hi
this,
Partha.
yeah.
Yeah, I have one
Let me
question here.
complete. Let me complete this. Okay. Otherwise,
Okay.
you'll be. So this is done.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
So here you can see the application got started, and I can see different kind of informations also after this application gets deployed. Okay, like this is the this is started, and the isolation segment is trial, and this is the root of the application. Okay, this is the actual root. Okay, and root means the actual access URL, and some other informations like this is the stack, kind of like you can imagine, like this is the operating system for Cloud Foundry. Okay, Cloud Foundry Linux FS3. And so I can say like, so you can see, right? So the infrastructure, you don't have to worry about those infrastructure and all, but it is already there for you. And then the application is running on this build pack, Node.js build pack. The version is this. Okay, and the type is web, and the instance, there is a single instance. We will be actually putting this multiple instance. We will be making the making so making the scaling part like the vertical scaling, horizontal scaling, and then the memory usage we have already defined like 128 MB memory it will use, and the start command is this one, and the status is running, and you can see how much CPU, how much memory and disk it is being utilized. The 0.4% CPU out of our allocated space CPU, and memory 20 MB of 128 MB, like so we have allocated 128 in total, but as of now it is just utilizing 120 MB. So if more and more user will be actually using this service, using this application, it will grow. And let's say like now just go back to my application and go to this overview. Now everything will be done. So it is in started state as well, and you can click on this URL and you can access it. So you can see as of now it is nothing. So whenever I'll put, I think it is test one or what? Sorry, test, right? Test. So hello undefined. If I'll put test something like that, test. Okay, test one. Question mark. Test one equal to G. So now you are not specifying any port. All those things are automatically happen. So we are moving away from the infrastructure part, how it runs and all those things. We are mainly focused on the business part. We are more focused on the logic part. Although this is not logic. This is hello world. Okay, now I will take your question. I think you understood this thing clearly. If you have a doubt, you can ask me later point of time as well. But let me quickly take few of the questions, and rest of the things I will be taking offline.
Yeah, hi Partha.
Yep.
Yeah, so like as we are going through this training, like this language is like Node.js, right? So
Correct.
Node.js is only used for communicating the commands of Cloud Foundry, or like how beneficial it is in context with SAP ABAP developers? Because I am a developer, and from that point of view, I'm asking this question.
Absolutely valid question. And whenever you are asking any question, please put your name at the first, okay? So that I can identify.
Sure, Naveen.
Naveen, yeah. So Naveen, here, as you have seen, right? So in future, whichever the logics that we'll be developing, we'll be putting inside like this. But this is not a complete overview. I'm just giving you the answer with respect of the application, whichever I am building now. So let's say like I wanted to calculate something like let's say like 1 plus 1 equal to 2. Okay, with two variable, you can put it here. So declare two variable, then put like 1 plus 1 equal to third variable, and then you can print send it to the output. That's it. So similarly, you can actually query, like you can join multiple tables here itself, and you can have final table, final internal table, and you can even call some other things. So gradually you will learn a lot of things. I think like uh, as I said, it is the training content is well thought through from your perspective only, from ABAP perspective. So everything, each and everything will be covered one by one, so you don't have to worry. So I think like if you trust me, okay, uh, believe me, just go whatever I am delivering one by one day. What will come, what will happen this, what will happen that, okay, those things are already covered. Don't worry. And whichever the doubt you have, whichever the content I am delivering currently, if you have any doubt, you can put me, I will answer.
Yeah, currently, like from like a web developer perspective, like I'm getting a bit because since it's a new language for us. So as of now, in the beginning, it might sound strange, but slowly and gradually, we'll come to know. Like you can get used to with this language.
Correct. Even you don't have to worry. As I was mentioning, you don't have to worry about this language, as because we'll be using framework. Framework means already well thought through tools, well thought through packages, libraries, and different kind of mechanism, standard mechanism. Even you don't have to write all this code as well in future. Future in the sense like in some sessions, in next sessions. Okay, so everything will be looking easy. So as of now, maybe like if this hello world program itself, it looks complex to you, I will say it is valid, because going forward it will be more easier.
So basically, the main idea of showing this Hello World example was like in as an overview from business point of view. What is the main focus like for showing this example, like from
Yeah, so
to
behind the
interact
scene,
with
so
the Cloud
whenever
Foundry
we'll
or
be,
what like?
yeah, Cloud Foundry, as because we'll be using CAPM framework, and CAPM framework supports, as of now, CAPM framework supports Node.js and Java. Okay, Node.js and Java
Oh,
will be mainly focusing on Node.js. So the baseline programming is Node.js. So, but on top of that, what SAP has done is, to make it simple, on top of Node.js, SAP make it more and more uh, developer friendly framework, so that developer don't have to more and more focus on learn new things. Okay, so maybe like little bit of command, little bit of things, or there are tools, and you are done. Okay, so you don't have to worry about a whole lot of things. That's what my message is.
yeah. So like Node.js will be taught in this course, right? A bit.
Correct. So you will be gradually learning the CAPM and Node.js.
Got it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. One more last question, and then
Yeah,
we
hi,
will be done.
hi, Partha, Ritesh here. So I have around 9 years of ABAP experience, and I want to know what are the career paths involved in BTP, and do we have any certifications to that, and how we need to, I mean, will this training be sufficient to target those certification, or do we need to acquire more skill set for that?
Yeah, let me do some of my advertisement. Okay, I got a chance to advertise myself. So what you do is you search SAP BTP blocks. Okay. So I am putting a lot of videos nowadays, and even you can follow me in LinkedIn as well. Okay. So you can follow me in LinkedIn as well. I think like I am giving all those information here itself. So here somewhere. So these are the QR codes. You can just scan it and check my LinkedIn and YouTube. So all those basic things, doubts, I am covering it here. I think I have also put that path as well. Career path for developers somewhere. Let me go inside. Yeah, career for developers. Can see. So try to follow. So see, the thing is, it's not something like I will be able to deliver everything in the all these things within this thing. Just try to follow this. Even I'm not saying you have to follow me. You have to. There are a lot of other content as well. So good content creator. Maybe you can follow them as well. But just keep your eyes and ears open. You will get to know everything. So someone somewhere is giving those informations in the open platform as well.
Mhm. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, Partha, it was really good. I mean, a lot of
You
things
can
that
get
we kind of don't know. So those are getting, I mean, those of, I'm being able to connect the dots. So yeah,
Yeah,
thanks.
please put your name as I said, right? So I can relate to you.
So it's Bodhisattva. It's Bodhisattva.
Okay, fine. So you all guys are all are here, or some already gone? Yep, this is good. Yeah, I know like this is quite a extended session today, but I will try to manage the timing going forward. It will be around 2.5 to max 3 hours, not more than that. Okay. Okay. Thank you. If you have any questions, post it in the WhatsApp
yeah.
group. Until then,
Hi
goodbye
Partha,
and see you tomorrow.
Naveen here. Hello.
Yep.
Yeah, hi Partha, Naveen here. By when can we expect the recording of this session? Because I was just missed
Yeah, I
something.
think
Yeah,
I need to
that's
ask the team. Ask the
Okay,
team.
sure.
Maybe you will be
sure.
getting it within 1 or 2 hours.
Okay, thank you, Partha.
Thanks, Partha. That would be really helpful.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thanks a lot for joining. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Bye.